What is going on, guys? ShotBet Podcast. We're live. We're a little bit late. It's usual. I mean, for this podcast, we're always 15 minutes late. So for those of you tuning in that have not seen an episode of ShotBet, we do things a little bit differently. Your likes and loves means we drink. So for us to drink more and more, which I guess I'm already getting poured in with a bunch of drinks.
This guy over here.
Share it to your friends. Share it to your I guess friends. That's it.
And your friends also.
Your friends and your friends and your mom who uses Facebook once a month. So today I have the pleasure of having a guest today. We have Brett, Animatronic the Abolisher, one half of Folklore, one half of the Keep Up, one half of a lot of things.
Yeah, some stuff.
I'm going to pour myself a drink.
I
need a drink. Feel free to let the people know who you are.
Yeah, I'm Brett, or Animatronic, or ATA. I've been really pushing the ATA thing because Animatronic the Abolisher is real lengthy.
It's a mouthful.
But it's too weird of a name to change this late in the game. So
yeah, you can't just change it.
I know. I really thought about it this year, but it's been so weird for so long. I can't change it now. Should I pour now? What are the rules?
You could pour now.
Cool.
So there's no real rules. The only rules we have is when you enter the dungeon. The dungeon.
Do you not usually say that?
I don't usually say the dungeon, but you're in the dungeon
you said
tonight.
It so cleanly. I assumed that was just the line.
When you enter the dungeon, the dungeon of horror, if you get the least amount of likes at the end of the podcast, you have to take a shot. Okay. So that's the only rules here.
That's reasonable.
I mean, we've done it the opposite way, where the most likes and loves takes a shot, but then it got to a point where some people were way higher than others, and then a shot just put them to that next level, and then you're putting someone to bed. So we're gonna try to like cool things down. So what we like to do here, here on ShotBet, we like to just break the ice and watch a cringe clip. And there's no better cringe that came out in the last week or two than the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer.
All right.
I was going to give you a choice, but then I watched the second clip, and it's it's weird. So weird. And it's a clip where, like, you're going to end up, like, fucking dry heaving. Like, I puke when I watch the clip.
Are you laughing or are you just repulsed?
No. It's, so if you guys want to see this clip, feel free to comment below. So it's a, like, she's a high schooler who does ASMR, which is, like, when you, like, make noises and whisper and stuff like that. Yeah. But she eats deodorant and eats makeup and like fully like swallows like chews on the fucking deodorant, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be perfect. But then I was like, I might puke if I watch this half an hour into this episode. But the people are here for the drinks. We both got 5 each.
We got 5.
We gotta start this off with a nice little 5 gulp just to get a little toasty.
It's gulps. Is that how we're doing?
It's
5
your
glasses.
It's
5 glasses.
Yeah, so we got 4 other glasses on standby. We pour the first one just for aesthetics. Oh, you got 6, and yeah. You honestly, it's up to. I'm not a policeman. I'm not gonna police your drinks. I just want
to play by the
rules. But the people might call you out if you're babysitting.
You let me know.
I don't know.
I'll go gulps.
Let's do it.
I take big sips.
Oh my god.
6 is a lot.
I should probably match you.
That's good. That's a good.
So my throat has had a tickle like all week.
Did that help?
So the gulp did the complete opposite. If you're surprised.
More.
What do you mean a little more? Are we really getting into this like that?
I just felt like I didn't put in a lot. I don't know.
All right, so we're gonna watch.
It's good.
We're gonna watch the best trailer of all time, and you guys.
I'm ready for this. Let's do it.
Switching over.
I love this podcast. Let's go.
Fucking go.
How many times have you watched it?
What the? If I'm being honest, half a dozen, I think. Because I showed fucking Kat, like I showed other people. By the way, we got the lovely Catherine Delsignor who's running sound and everything out back. If you want to hear us answer a question, feel free to ask it in the comments. If it's good, she'll ask it. If it's not good, we might ignore it. No, we're ignoring it. Fast.
Oh, there's the eyes and the mouth part.
It's worse.
20 minutes ago, an energy surge knocked out power across the entire Pacific Northwest.
By the way, it's sped up because I'm trying not to get copyright strike. I have so many copyright strikes on my YouTube right now. Oh, this is my favorite part, by the way.
Yeah.
This is my favorite fucking part.
Yes, I am.
Nope.
I'm wrong.
This is like classic
Allow me to
Jim
clarify.
Yeah,
Carrey.
it is.
Like,
Yeah, it is.
The masked Jim
In its
Carrey.
quaintly
Like,
written
liar,
hierarchy based on
oh
one
my
critical
god.
words,
They even have him doing, like,
too
the
vast
sped
to
up,
modify.
like-
Agent Stone.
That's the thing.
The doctor thinks you're basic.
The parking
Listen,
tickets.
pal,
I
why
hate
are
this
they-
though.
sorry,
This
Major,
dude
what
goes,
was your name?
it means you're basic.
Ben,
I'm like,
nobody cares.
stop tailoring
Yeah.
to like lingo of like the
SFPD.
kids. It
Yeah.
bothers me so much. Oh my god.
Meow.
Blech.
Why?
Let's know how it sounds too, because I know we're talking a little bit over it.
Basically, it looks like I'm gonna have to save your planet.
Why do you sound like that?
It's sped up.
Oh, that's right. I was like, yo, that's worse than
that's
I
not-
remember.
This is going like
No, but
20%
thank you for
faster than I
asking.
remember.
Gotta get back.
Gotta go back.
Also, can we talk about the elephant? Like, is Gangsta's Paradise
job is
already
to
playing?
secure
Right?
it.
Yes, yeah.
Neutralize it.
Why?
See what makes it tick.
Why?
I don't know. I remember watching like Lumberjack making commentaries. Like, why?
Yeah.
I love the Genesis reference though.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
So you know what pisses me off? So
Look at this. I took
he can
9
slow down
million steps
time to
today.
avoid all these missiles,
True.
but then gets hit in the dark
Oh,
in the first freaking minute of this trailer.
I didn't even catch
he
that.
has,
That's true.
He has
Yeah.
no freaking. I love this though. This is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
here.
Do you have your child in that bag?
No.
Not my
I mean, yes, it's a child, but it's not mine.
So,
I love it.
I'll give him that.
Oh.
Smells like body spray in an old ham sandwich.
But my ultimate favorite part is this right.
That's-
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
god,
That's
that is
glorious.
that is some like fan service right there.
Yeah.
Because at first I was watching and I was looking at Dr. Robotnik and I was like, okay, like, who?
Yeah.
And then, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I love Jim Carrey, and then all of a sudden it like transitions to that, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this is the golden Sonic era.
Yeah.
Like this, and I don't. How do you feel about a lot of our nostalgic games? I mean, Pikachu,
Yeah.
Pokemon Detective, or whatever it's called, just released. Sonic the Hedgehog is being released.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. Like, I mean, it's been it's happened over like the years too. Like a lot of people forget. Like there was a Donkey Kong Country show. Like there's like
Oh, yeah.
the Mario movie.
Brothers. Yeah.
So like it's been happening, but it seems like, I don't know if it's because we're older and now we can be nostalgic.
Yeah.
That they're catering to that audience now, like where and like that they're gonna change everything. They like the director said they're gonna go through and like kind of modify what
Right.
Sonic looks
Yeah,
like.
yeah, I know.
So it's like, did they do that for shock value just to like get a bunch of people?
The original
interested?
design, you're saying?
The design that we just watched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious about that. A friend of mine posted something saying like, what if they always had that second design and they just like put that one out to get like a rise out of everybody? But I also like, I can't figure out who the target audience is, because like we're like a generation of like nostalgic nerds.
Yeah.
So like all the angry people online are like, you know, like mid 30s angry about like how Sonic looks. But then like Mike there were kids movies. Like,
Yeah.
that used to be a thing. Remember when
Yeah.
they made movies for kids? So maybe that's what
Oh,
this
man.
is. Yeah, that's you. Loading you up.
Go on.
Like that. So that movie, I mean, the Detective Pikachu movie looks great.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So like, but it's like it's weird. I kind of wish, I love it. I love Ryan Reynolds. I kind of wish it wasn't him doing the voice, but I'm like,
do you know? Can we on the like count of 3
Yeah.
say who should have been? Do you know? Do you know what the fan favorite is?
let's do it. I think so. Let's just do it. You
Do we
count
know?
to 3.
Okay, I'll count.
Okay, you count
Do
to
you
3.
count
Let's see.
up to 3 or down? To
Is it 1, 2, 3, and then the name?
yeah, let's do
Okay.
it. 1, 2, 3.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. That could have
We're
gone so
connected.
many ways.
We got
Yeah.
our oars are connected.
Yeah, I
that-
would have been with that.
That would have been cool. But the thing is Ryan Reynolds is such a fucking genius
So
with
funny.
marketing. His
True, yeah.
I was cracking up. I showed Kat like earlier this week where Ryan Reynolds posted a link on Twitter and said, and then add like Pikachu Detective and at like the studios.
Okay.
Saying that like, and it showed like leaked full Pokemon, Pikachu Pokemon movie like leaked. And it was like an hour and 30-minute video on YouTube.
Is that what it was?
So you click on it, it's the first minute of the video, and then an hour and 29 of Pikachu dancing to like detect music. And it's a bet, but his marketing is
So
unbelievable.
good.
It's been great since freaking like
on point.
Deadpool and
Oh, yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And like I think the best thing that happened to him was because he's always been funny, but like the Deadpool, like breaking the third wall.
Yeah.
or
Oh, yeah.
Fourth wall, third wall,
Fourth.
Which wall?
Fourth wall.
All
yeah.
of them.
I think you break the fourth one.
Yeah, so he learned that humor
Yeah.
like getting into that character, and then I think he's applying it to like everything he's invested in,
Yeah.
which is working wonders for him.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a role he was born to play. Which like I'll don't get me wrong, like I'll watch I love Ryan Reynolds, like I'll watch him in anything. I'll take him as any character, but I just like with Pikachu, I want like I almost want like Josh Brolin. Like I want like a deep I want it to be funny in that way.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like quippy and hilarious because he's just always funny.
Yeah.
But
no, I feel the same way because I think that contrast of because you remember Pikachu from like the original comic series or like the anime series, or I know I'm gonna get flagged for saying anime for Pokemon because I don't know.
Is it
what,
not?
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I feel like every time I say anime, people are like technically.
Yeah, that's.
But when the original Pokemon, you had the brighter Pikachu.
Yeah.
And then you always associate bright with Pikachu. You know, pun intended, but like then. If Detective Pikachu being like a detective, like you know, old school like LA Noir type of like feel to him, and then that contrast would have just made Pikachu a funny character by itself.
Exactly. Yeah, that's one of those things too that I'm like, I don't know who. I feel like film studios now have to cater to like our generation, but also like. It's like the Pixar thing. Like the Pixar does like family movies so well. Like the whole like you're taking your kids, but you're the one crying because like you get it more
like
than
Toy
they do.
Story 3,
yeah, I'm saying.
Or
like, did you see Inside Out?
No. I haven't seen a lot of movies like Inside Out. I haven't seen Up. I haven't seen like anything that needs a tissue box. I'm gonna avoid.
You gotta watch Up, dude.
I know.
You gotta watch 3 minutes tops. You'll be balling.
I know. I heard.
It's over.
I'm getting my girlfriend's yelling at me. She's like, "Come on, watch out!"
She's got a point. You guys see it. It's good.
I know.
It's good stuff.
But fuck, we just went on like on a tangent.
What happened?
For, like,
I don't know.
minutes. I wanted to transition out of Sonic to go into
Sonic.
kind of the origins of us meeting, and I always like to give like just an origin story for us, and then you can kind of go into your origin story that probably predates that. But I met you and Lumberjack together as Folklore. So like I think it was even a point where I knew you as Animatronic. I just knew the duo as Folklore, and then we did the Chris Webby show.
Oh yeah, that was such a good show.
And it's funny because Lumberjack doesn't recall like this memory, but one of our previous episodes, Joe Kelly was on here, and he was talking about how he opened for Chris Webby, and we kind of related on that note.
Yeah.
And I told him a story about getting hustled for those tickets to like pre-sell all the Chris Webby tickets. But then I had people ready to like attack me because my like Energy and Folklore both took the top spots when they were promised to other people, and they thought we were throwing them under the bus when it was just the promoter throwing them under the bus. And I remember Lumberjack standing up for me and going, "Hey, do you notice how the promoters like kind of going to the other side of the room every time you like come around with like your arsenal of like hood like Manchester people?"
Yeah.
It's because he's avoiding you because he knows you're pissed, but then he doesn't know you're pissed at Justin. He just thinks you're pissed. So that's my first memory of interacting with you guys, which was a crazy night. But how did Folklore come together and you meeting Lumberjack and just I guess the whole origin story?
So the first I started.
I know it sucks. It sucks later because you're mid-story, you take a sip, and they're like, "What? All right, let me retell the last 5 minutes."
Nick and I, Lumberjack and I, he's not Lumberjack anymore. Do we know that? Do you know that?
No, I don't. I'm so pissed.
No,
yeah. He's I'm not even gonna pretend because I'm probably gonna have him on the podcast very soon.
It's cool. You want to give it a shot? Should I look at the camera?
No, you. Well, I mean, you can. You can
All
talk
right.
to me. You can. It's kind of rude
def-
to like not talk to me.
All right, you're right. I'm sorry. Okay. So he's at.
Well, it's you.
Come on, guy. I'm trying.
You look like a dog excited for the mailman's here. You're like,
I am thirsty, so I appreciate it. Can I drink when I don't get loves?
yeah, do whatever you want.
Don't tell me what to do.
I will say though,
What?
I've had previous guests that were like, "Oh, I haven't been getting drinks this whole fucking time. I'm gonna just take a shot, drink at my own leisure."
And then they all pop
And then
in
it gets
later.
in the end, and then
right.
you're in the latter half, and you're like,
I'll take it easy.
"Oh, okay."
So At Me is what he's going by now. but formerly Lumberjack.
Yeah.
We've known each other since I think it was freshman year. So that's our like origin. There's a really
Like
funny
Pinkerton?
story. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And yeah, so freshman year, high school, and then as far as rapping together, the first like official like hip hop release I ever did at all was in 2008. Was like my first full length.
Okay.
And Nick and I had not talked for a while. I don't even remember why, but then we ended up reconnecting on some sort of social media.
Like, did it leave off on a bad note? Is it just
No.
because you kind of
I moved.
clicks?
I moved a lot.
Okay.
So we were super tight when I was at Pinkerton, and I think it was probably when I moved. I went to 3 different high schools. Like we moved a lot.
Is there a reason why you moved, or
Just all like different
Yeah.
reasons. Like we just bounced around to different houses. I don't even know what.
because I know you're in Londonderry now, so
Yeah.
that must have happened somewhere along the line.
Yeah. I'm in. I'm actually in Derry now, so I'm like right on the line. But I was gonna let
I
it.
can't catch
I was
up.
gonna let it slide,
Yeah,
but
you fucking.
it's been a while.
you're like 1 second. Let me correct.
I've
you.
only been there for 2 years, so it's not,
That's fucked up though on my behalf.
No, it's all right.
Because I haven't come over in 2
That's right.
years.
Yeah. Well, that's my fault then, right?
I wasn't gonna say anything, but
No, you got it. I keep pointing at the wrong. So
I know it's inverse because I'm on the right and you're on the
yeah,
left.
I'll
and then
figure it
you're-
out. We got
It's
time.
okay. We're good.
So yeah, it had been a while, and then we reconnected later on, and I don't remember if I think I gave him a copy of the album because we just hung out. It was one of those like, hey man, we haven't like talked in a while, which is so funny because like it's weird to think that there was a time where we didn't really talk because now he's
you,
like a brother to me.
yeah,
so,
yeah. Which is the coolest thing.
Yeah, and so it's funny because I don't remember when it first started, but it was probably shortly after that. He like hit me up and was like, would you want to like work on something? And then the first thing we did was, I think, Loser, that Beck track
That's one
that
of my
we.
favorite fucking
I think
songs.
that was the first
if
thing.
you guys know Beck's song "Loser" from what, the 90s or something like that.
Oh yeah, probably early 2000s.
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't know. It's late 90s to early 2000s,
Yeah.
somewhere in that range.
That era.
But you guys did this like that's the thing I loved about you guys because between like the Loser cover and then you're remixing Amelie by fucking Amelie
Amelie, the French romance movie.
by Lil Wayne, and then like Lumberjack had this Coldplay cover, which was crazy
Oh, that's right,
when he
yeah,
rapped. I always enjoyed that you guys showed appreciation and love to other genres of music,
Yeah.
and I want to touch base on that later because it's cool to see which way you dive with your like hip hop and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how that worked out too, because like the first stuff that we really bonded over musically was like I was like a major nu metal kid in high school. I still am. Like I'm a Slipknot kid. So, and that was the stuff that we really bonded over. And like,
It's nu metal.
yeah, yeah. Well, like nu metal, and then ultimately like I got really into punk, and then it was hardcore that we both really got into, and so we have a lot of that same like musical history. And then, and those are like the bands that I started playing in. But then I started rapping as like an aside.
Yeah.
And then when we started doing the mixtape, like what ended up being the first folklore mixtape, it was just like what like beats can we grab, and it ended up coming from a few different styles.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense that we did it the way that we did it. But it just started off as like a fun idea.
That's cool.
And then when we started playing, I think by the time the folklore mixtape came out, I had put out my EP, which was like my second official release. And then we played a few shows, and it was super fun. And then people started to know us like as folklore.
Yeah.
Which was cool because
Yeah.
it was like just kind of a fun like side project. But now it's kind of its own thing. Yeah.
Now, with that being said, so you've been in a lot of bands,
True.
and then it predates your hip hop stuff.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So how did you being in like alternative bands and nu metal bands and
Mm-hmm.
all these different type of groups that you did in music? How did that influence your performing and your writing skills and just overall your appreciation of music?
I think my performing, in particular, a lot of that energy has come from like my background in aggressive music. Some of the first music that I was like really, well, I guess it started, okay, so the first album I ever really, really cared about was Tragic Kingdom by No Doubt. That was like a big deal to me. Is that me?
Yeah.
Sick.
Wait, is that song with I'm such an asshole. Don't sleep.
That's the one. Don't speak. Yeah.
Don't speak.
Don't
I was
Speak,
gonna say
yeah.
Don't Sleep, and I'm like, I'm gonna be an asshole right now.
that's
Don't
cool. You were
Speak is
close.
one of my favorite songs of
Really?
all time. I
Dude.
love that
Oh,
fucking song.
That album.
Yeah.
So good. I was
It's
probably
so
like
good.
it's probably like 10 or 11 when
Did
I
you
was
get
like
Strawberries?
probably. Dude, Strawberries was so overpriced all the time.
I know, but it was the only.
only place, so we
Because
didn't know
You go to
yet.
Walmart,
Yeah.
you get the fucking edited
Yeah,
version.
I
if you
know,
want any
that's
hip
all
hop
it is.
stuff,
It's
and then you go to
garbage.
Best Buy, and it's like, why are you gonna drive all the way to Manchester when
too
there's
much.
one in the fucking Shaw's Plaza and Dairy?
Exactly.
But yeah, it was
Yep.
the Strawberries.
Definitely
too.
got Strawberries. But yeah, so like later on, and I feel like late middle school, early high school is when you start to really like solidify what music you're like passionate about.
Yeah.
So for me, it came in, and I'm still kind of like this. I think by nature I'm kind of an eclectic person, so I'll latch on to a certain genre or a certain like whatever.
Yeah.
And I will just be really into that thing
Yeah,
for a
that's-
long time.
Yep.
And like for me, it was really like, I remember hearing the self-titled Slipknot album, and it was like nothing I'd ever heard. So like heavy music to me was like a huge thing for a long time. And I think just the energy in it. And then I got really into punk, like I said, and that was just it was just faster, and like everyone was yelling all the time, and that was appealing to me. I wasn't even like an angry kid. I was just like, why is everyone yelling? I love it. Yeah. So like, and I think a lot of all of my first performances were with like punk and metal bands. So I just was always like, I always like either jumped around a lot on stage or was screaming or like, and then I started playing drums. Drums was like my first instrument. So lots of flailing around. And then when I started rapping, my first show was actually super, super awkward because I had no idea what to do. It was just me and a mic.
I get
and I'm
that.
like, I don't know. This is weird.
I'm kind of pissed that like you're even like edging me right now.
What
Like, this is bullshit.
I mean,
Okay, there you go. Someone heard my request.
That's pretty-
No, you got to drink, and then I'm like, why is this dude catching up to me? I didn't know you had fans or supporters.
I mean, me neither. This is news to me. This is news. It's because I suck at social media. I'm so bad at social media.
Dude, I want to talk to you about it because I totally get the gripes with social media.
You're
and the
good at
fucking
it, though.
No, okay.
You're
see,
good
that's
at
what
it.
annoys me because
Dude,
I don't think I'm
drives
like
me nuts.
even close.
You're good
even
at it.
Close.
I'll say it again.
I want to get into your like take on social media too.
Yeah.
Did
Did I answer the whole question? I
kind
forget.
of. Oh, we have a question.
Oh, we have a question.
Who was your original first favorite punk band?
First favorite punk band was probably Rancid.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. And Out Come the Wolves. And Out Come the Wolves. That was like that album was like a game changer for me. It was them and the Casualties, because the Casualties was the first punk band that I heard that was like a street punk band where they were screaming a lot.
Yeah.
Screaming was a big deal for me.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
why. There was like
I'm
a
the
period
same way.
in
I
my life
fucking
where
love
like
screaming.
yeah, I was like, there's just like, and he was like, Jorge, the vocalist of the Casualties, was like flipping out all the time. Does that mean? Oh, sick. So yeah, Rancid and the Casualties. Those were my two. I know you asked for one. There's two.
It's fine. Well, I think, and obviously you can see it represented in like some of my newer music.
Yeah.
Like I feel like sometimes screaming just evokes so much more pain and emotion.
Absolutely.
That like you don't see it because. I get it. Like it's an art because obviously like Shakespeare's not screaming when he's writing his.
Oh, but what if he was? That'd be wild. Reimagining.
And like so he's writing his poetry and like words speak a fucking emotion.
Yeah.
But there's it's almost like you're adding like a filter on top of it, on top of your words. And it's I don't know. I've always been a huge fan of just screaming vocals, and like I probably have a very cliche group of like music that I would listen to, but like there's something about screaming, and I've seen even your songs where you go like really deep, the comeback when you go deep into the chorus. It is my favorite, dude. And you know what, don't even like pretend like it's not good, because every time I go, you gotta perform the song, and then people come up to me and go, I'm glad you made him perform the song, because that was my favorite song of his of the set, because it's just such a it's
pretty intense,
it's because it's just got a really good like you're just killing like the multi-syllables, and then you drop into this chorus that just you fucking belt. and like
Yeah.
Did your vocal like your voice control and your air control, like was it natural to you when you jumped from doing bands to hip hop, or was it a tough transition?
Kind of actually. So Ooh, that's a good question. I never really thought about that. So a quick vocal history. The first band I was ever in, I was a vocalist for a punk band called The Morons. You're welcome for that. And it was a lot of like one of the songs. So they had like rehearsals where they had vocalists try out. And one of the songs that I did was "Journey to the End of East Bay" by Rancid, and it was kind of faster, like it's just a lot of lyrics. And one of the things that drew me to rap ever since I was younger was anything fast. Like anything fast, I was like, I was just like, I need to learn how to do that, and it always drew my ear. So there was a little bit of that always, but then from the very beginning, I was always doing some semblance of like yelling. Yeah. But then one thing that I did when I first started writing raps is I would write myself into a corner where there were way too many words. So like in my head,
I hate people like that.
Dude, I know. It drives me crazy because there are songs on my first album that I could never do live. Yeah. Like I had to. So that's just a thing you learn as you go. But that was tough.
No, it really is. It really is.
And now like writing space into my songs was so tough for me because there was also a thing where I psyched myself out into thinking like if every moment isn't packed with like words, it's a bad rap. Oh. And then
my god,
it's like, it drives me crazy.
One of the things I love like just doing hip hop and like, you know, I've obviously with me being in the scene and you being in the scene, you see a lot of people from their starting point to like where they've evolved to. Yeah. And one of the things, I mean, that you branch out into like these three different branches where you're either doing metaphors, a message, or you're doing flows. Sure. And then like you kind of keep going deeper and deeper to that route, but you don't learn. Like I feel like a lot of hip hop, and nowadays it's like almost second nature because I feel like that a lot of hype hip hop knows how to use that space to their advantage to bring like the vibe and hype up. And I think something with old school hip hop heads or old school hip hop heads that are local rappers, you know what I mean? I think one thing they don't realize is spacing is such an emphasis thing. I mean, think about when you're reading like poetry or you're reading like a story, a comma, that spacing when you finish and then it pauses and then all of a sudden you take a breath and then you go into the next part and you're like, what the fuck? Like, you know, like there's something so elegant about the writing and the spacing of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing that I feel like I'm still learning, like just figuring out, because I really struggle with it. Like I struggle with, especially because a lot of the reactions I've gotten into past verses is like, yo, you rap so fast there, and it's like I can hear everything you're saying, so like I get a lot of positive feedback on that
the recordings.
On the recordings and stuff like that. And then like when you get up to like a little bit on my EP, but on We Are Weapons there are a couple of spots, that's an album that I put out later. I appreciate it. Like there are some spots on there where I specifically like I wrote faster parts, but before and after there's like breathing room, and that was just a thing that I had to learn. But what's funny about like a little anecdote about the genre question is the way that it kind of influenced some of my writing is like, I wouldn't call it a good or a bad thing, but like We Are Weapons is so experimental that I almost don't know if people would recognize it as a hip hop record. And
I get that.
It's kind of weird because I did everything on that album that I wanted to do, but it has like screaming, it has 2 spoken words. One of them's like 6 minutes long.
Know.
There's like
so dope to just
it's so weird.
I think you piece it together so beautifully where it's like the whole thing is intertwined where the spacing of the track list alone just kind of like just meshes well together.
That was hard. I appreciate that because that was hard to put together.
And I feel there's a lot of people that don't think about the album order. Like they do, but like it's kind of like half-assed. So like me and Dill, when we did both of our projects, we sent it to each other and kind of was like, hey, how do you feel about this order? Yeah. What about this order? You know what I mean? Like we bounce back the idea,
I think it's super important.
It should be just as important as writing the lyrics.
Yeah. I enjoy that aspect of it too, like crafting a whole project, you know what I mean? And that one felt like pretty cinematic too, that album. So like it felt, and Jesse Clinton, who I worked on that album with, he does film scores, like that's what he does for production, so like that's why some of their tracks have that vibe to it. But putting it together like in order after I had the songs done, I was like, I don't know what song goes where. But so that's why that came out that way.
From Nick? Oh, not Lumberjack. At me rap, so it's good.
at not Lumberjack.
At not Lumberjack.
Would you say you rap differently from animatronic to folklore?
Ooh, good question. That's a good question. Do I I don't think so. I think my it has a lot to do with the beat. So like all the beats we've used in folklore, primarily have been like have had like a really fun vibe.
Yeah.
At least what people have heard. We have a whole.
I know I'm pissed.
Should I talk about this?
Don't
Like,
even say
dude.
it, because the core few that like really know folklore is
yeah.
gonna be pissed knowing that there's an unreleased with like a Mike Wing possible feature and
13
then like a
tracks.
bunch of
Like so, I'm trying to. I haven't even talked to Nick about this, but I'm literally like looking at my schedule, trying to figure out when I can go to Philly so we can just record the whole thing. We'll talk about it, not lumberjack.
Well, he's coming this week if you're around.
Bro, I got
See,
work.
I know.
You gotta let me know. I got work.
He just reached out. He's like, "Yo, I'm gonna be in town." I was like, "All right, let me know."
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So I think it just has a lot to do with the beats. I was thinking about this today.
Do you think it's about the chemistry too between you two? Did you write a lot together?
Nope. No. We talked a whole hell of a lot about writing together. The closest we came to writing together was I went to Philly and we hung out and we sat on the couch and we talked about writing a song. And then I think he showed me 2 episodes of Rick and Morty, and
which is long.
Which is like
it's not like a let's take a 2-minute break.
No,
like,
like
it's a 2-episode break.
And I think I finished like a half of a verse. But we always try, but whenever we get together, we end up hanging out or talking about the MCU or something like that. So a lot of it was separate, but we've collaborated a little bit on like mostly concept. Like, hey, I wrote this verse, this is the concept. So yeah, the chemistry definitely has something to do with it though. It might change a little bit there just because I know that we're going to be working on something together. But a lot of it is just like the vibe of the beat, like which I like a lot. I like having my flow like reflect the vibe of the music, which is maybe an obvious thing, but like you do that a lot.
It's not. It's not an obvious thing. No, I do it, but it's not an obvious thing because I feel the one thing, one of my biggest pet peeves is the fact that there's so many songs and verses that are interchangeable between beats.
Oh, okay,
that it's like you don't even consider like you could like I love catering the beat to your flow or catering your flow to the beat. Yeah. Or you can't take like one of the newer songs I have and slap it on another beat. It wouldn't hit the same way. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people just biggest pet peeve, and I'm sorry to all the hip hop artists that are like in that mentality, but they'll write like a whole verse in their notebook. And then all of a sudden they'll get the beat and then try to cram it into the beat and pat it in and then go, all right, that's good. And then I'm like, did you listen? You need to listen to beat. You need to see where the beat drops are. You need to see where like the cadences are gonna flow. Like it's just crazy. But I think we got a question. Feel free to turn on the mic too.
Do you think there's room for spoken word pieces in mainstream hip hop, or is it forever tethered to more underground audience?
Oh my God! Can we talk about Kendrick's spoken word was done? Oh my God, Kendrick did it so beautifully on To Pimp a Butterfly. Even though it's not my favorite album by him, I prefer it a lot more. Good Kid, Mad City.
Sure.
Like I love the foreshadow of the outro spoken word.
Man, that's a good question. I guess it depends on like. I feel like mainstream's a hard conversation now because it's just like some of the stuff that really takes the forefront is just like from YouTube fame. Or you know what I mean? Like Old Town Road, like is like growing off of memes. You know what I mean?
But by the way, like I'm gonna recap. This is a little foreshadow to like the end of the podcast where I'm gonna announce future guests. I have a really good story about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because like I think Kendrick's a good example where it's like I'm sure a lot more people are now familiar with a spoken word than would have been like a decade ago. You know what I mean? But if we're talking like, is radio still relevant to the point where you would have to be on the radio to be considered mainstream? Because I don't know.
which is funny. It's so funny to think because people are saying like the internet is a new TV or the new radio, new everything, and it's like, is radio a relevant topic when you talk about mainstream? Because it almost shadows what's being popular online or on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, that's true. And it's weird because like podcasting is the new radio, I feel like.
Oh my God, I love it though.
But like, I do too. And I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm having a hard time answering that question. I think spoken word is like kind of like spoken word and poetry still feel like the underground art form. Like they still feel like the thing that people don't maybe it doesn't have mass appeal. Like maybe if it doesn't have a beat and it doesn't have some musicality to it that's instrumental, people don't understand it. Like,
well, if you think about it, mass appeal is mass appeal. As redundant as that sounds, it's like it's got to be catchy and be fluid with everyone.
Right.
So like if you're doing a pop record, that's going to have mass appeal. If you're doing a hip hop record that is good for dancing and going out and partying to, it might not have the same mass appeal as like an underground hip hop song. It might, but like chances are the more poppy records, more uplifting records are the ones that are gonna kind of cast over.
If it has a chance in the mainstream, I kind of want to say it would have more of a chance in the millennial generation, because I feel like there's a lot of like, I don't know, there's like a strong passion for the arts that is different in this generation. Correct. I feel like, I don't know if that's like a bold statement or whatever, that's just how it feels like amongst me and my peers. Like that is something that I feel like is indicative of the millennial generation, or that's something that's characteristic. So if it has a chance to be in the mainstream, it would be like that sort of mindset that
it would be so underground that it would be
it would be like yeah exactly,
cool
like we've never appreciated this to the degree that we should, like let's do it. So maybe
and it's funny that you mentioned podcasting being the new radio, because the next topic I wanted to get into was the Keep Up podcast, which you're one half of. It's you and your brother Tim. Tim is a big fan of this podcast, and just we appreciate each other's like art and everything.
Absolutely.
And I want to get into it, so it's kind of you explain it, because I'm gonna explain it just like a pop culture fucking podcast.
Yeah, that sounds right.
You probably have a better description.
It's dude, we've tried to like explain what it is, but so yeah, that's it. Basically started because my brother and I just have like goofball conversations constantly, and we make each other laugh a lot. Yeah. So we were like, let's just start a podcast. We actually started a YouTube channel first, just doing like unboxings.
Doing unboxing and
so
challenges,
silly stuff.
No, that's good stuff. I love that shit.
Dude, it's so fun. So now so the podcast is essentially, we have categories. We have technology, TV, movies, video games. We go through and just talk about like whatever we've been going through lately, like whatever we've been playing and been watching. The concept, which like obviously that's like 80% of the podcast sphere right now, and probably always has been, is just like movie reviews or whatever.
Okay.
I like to think of it as a comedy pop culture podcast, and the idea of it's called the Keep Up because the original idea was it doesn't necessarily have to be with like something that just came out. We always have like a backlog of things that we're trying to keep up with. So sometimes I'll talk about a PS1 game that I just played for the first time. You know what I mean? Like
I remember we spoke about like Resident Evil and just replaying those, and I'm like, okay, all right.
Dude, like I'll go through those. And Tim also, like, he's always pretty well caught up. I'm always like 3 consoles behind. So that was kind of the concept, and usually it's about 15 minutes of us like talking about nonsense, and then we'll get into some like reviews and reactions to things. And we have a channel, the YouTube channel is still going, and we've been trying to kind of figure that out over the years, like how best to utilize that and what we have the most fun with. It's really tough, man. Like we realized at one point that the numbers were causing too much of like, it was taking too much of our focus. Because when we started, we literally did an unboxing, and in the middle of every unboxing, we did like a short, like a comedy sketch. Okay. And we had a cool formula going, and then at one point, we felt like we weren't getting as many responses as we wanted, so we changed the whole format, and it was just kind of trial and error.
It's so hard because like I feel the same way with this podcast, because I'm like, you always like strive for the best numbers, and you strive for like different things, and then it's like, am I doing something wrong? Am I getting the wrong guess? Am I doing the wrong thing?
It's stressful,
and it's like,
man.
And it's at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking. You're just having a good time.
You know what
I mean? Like
absolutely.
And that's what you got to do. And I think with that being said, people can feel it organically. So the ones that do well aren't because they had a pretty good unless they're already like a famous comedian.
Sure.
Like, like living off of their past, but you can see organically how much fun the person's having, and that kind of reminisces with people more than the like if you're stressed and like focusing on like, I need to make this the best thing I can do, then all of a sudden like you can see, like the audience can see when like you're the bead of sweat is over your forehead.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you feel it. That's something I've been trying to like smash into my own brain lately, is like not to focus on that stuff, because to be honest, I think like, so I kind of have my hands on a lot of things because it's what I want to do. Like, I
Yeah.
just want to create. And I feel like you're a similar mind where
Mm-hmm.
like, you're like, I want to do a podcast. I want to, I want to do even the shows you do, like they're this big production. And I feel like that's just a part of you to like build and create. And I want to do that too. And sometimes promotion is fun, but sometimes I find I'm almost creating something just to promote it, which is like useless.
Yeah,
like, what is that?
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But I did enjoy your concept of, correct me if I'm wrong, like to make something new every day or something like that. That I loved, because I think as much as like it's dumb to think that's a good idea, like it's a good idea because I think one thing I see people dwell on is I'm gonna hold this for a release date. I'm gonna hold this for you know perfect timing or whatever. It's like
100%.
No, if there's something, I get quality over quantity.
Yeah.
But if you're just like, one thing I try to do here, like I try to step it up every episode. Try to do something new. You know, like the first episode we'd even have a backdrop. You know what I mean? We just had a black background, and then we got a backdrop, and then we got mics that weren't on the table, so that way you didn't hear the sound of the banging on the table. Then we got a different webcam, we got a different setup. Now we can game. Now so I think there's something great about just taking one step, no matter what, because otherwise you're standing still.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's just where progress comes from, and especially in the time that we live in, like everything's moving so fast. So you can just make something right now and post it, and it's like, if you give yourself too much time to overthink it, you might never do anything with it. And like sometimes that's okay. Like honestly, I have a hard time listening to like my first record, because it was I was just like so stoked to put it out, and I didn't really know what I was doing yet, but I had some people behind me that like wanted me to put out a full length, and so I did it. I'm glad it's out. But like, I look back at that and I'm like, I'm better now because I put that out. You know what I mean? So, I think that's just all a part of it, and that's part of what I've had to accept is like, I've had a hard time with that because I get very self-conscious about almost everything. So if I'm going to like create something and put it out there, and artists are weird because that's like most artists. So that it's like, oh, I don't want all these people looking at me, but I only feel alive on stage in front of millions of people. It doesn't make any sense. But like, it's a very real thing where I want to create something and show people, but as soon as I hit like share, I'm like, like everyone can see it. Like it's so weird. Like it's
so dumb.
Yeah,
it's
so
what I mean? Like,
dumb.
it's so dumb. I feel the same way. You get this anxiety where like you feel that the like counter depicts the quality.
Yeah.
So like,
Super,
and it's like
100%.
And it's one of those things where even before like social media, you want it to be liked by everyone in your class.
Yeah.
If someone didn't like you, you're like, why? What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not what you're doing wrong. It's just because the person doesn't like you.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Or doesn't like anyone.
Right.
So like, I think what happens is there's this like, we as just human want to see validation from likes, and what's better, like, I mean, when you have people in your classroom or whatever, you can see who likes you, doesn't like you.
Yeah.
But what's a better fucking update than seeing how many fucking thumbs up you get? That's quantifiable. Quantifiable? Is that quantifiable?
Yeah. Check. Is
Yep.
That's a word.
Quantifiable.
Okay. Quantifiable. There we are.
If it's not, we're using it.
Yeah.
Merriam-Webster, hit us up.
Yeah.
We will
You're welcome.
just pay the rights for it, and we'll say it's okay. So quantifiable, like to be like, all right, I can tell how much people like me.
Right. I can see it.
I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
I can see how many people like me. I can see how many people don't like me. I can see how many people look at it and don't give a shit.
Right.
I can see it
That
all
one
in front of
hurts.
me. It hurts.
Yeah.
It is so hard to be like, all right, well, like, why? Why try? Why bother? Why do stuff? And I get it. People are always like, oh, well, do it for yourself. And it's like, fuck you. You just spent 2 hours to edit a fucking picture that you're going to post online that, like, you're going to get, like, 200 likes on or 100 likes on, or you spent way more time on that than you should have, and you're going to tell me, like, that I'm
do it for
spending,
yourself.
do it for yourself?
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good point.
Tell me do it for yourself when you don't have social media. Then I'll be like, okay.
All right. Yeah.
All right,
I know.
I get where you're coming from.
Well, because that's the other thing. That's the comparison. Is you're like, sometimes, dude, I've like scoured Instagram pages and just been like, what are people doing? Because sometimes I'm like, what works, trying to keep up with certain trends or whatever. And I see certain pages with like hundreds of likes, not even like thousands or tens of thousands, just hundreds. And I'm like, how's this person get hundreds of likes? Like I'm flipping through the videos. I'm like, this is garbage. Like, how? And then like I post one thing, I only get 2 likes, but I post one thing every 7 months. So like, of course nobody's going to see it. So it's like my own fault, but I don't know. All the comparison makes it worse.
And it's
you
not
can
even
see other
comparison
stuff.
because you can't compare people. You can't compare like my brother would do way better with like Energy did way better as a whole than like any of us solo just because he was in a high school of 4,000 people. That's accounted for. You know what I mean? Like so it's like and it's anything like that, and that's why popular people get more likes or good-looking people get more likes.
Right,
it's like, but then the unattractive, non-popular kids are get fucking pissed. They're like, what the fuck?
Us old ugly rappers, I get nothing. Nobody's like.
Fuck, man. Jesus Christ, like this.
Get in there.
I'm feeling it. I
I've
need
been
to.
sitting-
I need it. That's okay. You're more than welcome.
Do you work weekends?
No.
Nice.
No. I do
Nice.
Monday through Friday.
Happy for you.
I only do it if I do it. I'll remote in and just like piece something together.
that
I'll have
sounds
emails.
nice.
Yeah, it's.
Remoting in. I don't get to remote in.
But if I remote in, it's a quick. It's not like an 8-hour day.
Yeah.
It's not like a full day.
Right.
But it's. I work salary, so at the same time.
Oh,
It's like,
okay. Yeah.
if I'll work Saturday if I'm behind, but I'm not gonna work Saturday just to have hang out.
So you're not working
time.
tomorrow?
No.
Sick.
You are.
I am, but it's not super early. I'll be fine.
I love the keep up, by the way. For
Thanks,
those of you
man.
tuning in, if you want to
Thanks,
see
man.
like pop culture references and like just discussions about games, movies, TV shows, everything, check them out because like I think the thing I love is the chemistry. And like I recently just did an episode with my brother.
Yeah.
And it, as much as there was so many technical difficulties, it was dope because like we just connected. Like you could feel it. Like people watching were like, "Oh, that was a really good episode," just because. First off, he ran with it.
Yeah.
And second off, like it was just you could tell by like the delight in each other's voice and face. And like I think with the keep up, the chemistry between you and your brother is just like you can see it right away.
Thanks,
when you
man.
listen to it.
I appreciate that. That's a lot of. We've talked a lot about like, okay, if we're gonna do this channel, if we're gonna do the podcast, like, what's the point? Like, why would people watch? And what we came down to is like we hope people just want to like hang out because it's like our personalities are really I feel like the selling point, like if they're not to call it that, but like that's what I hope people get out of it is like oh, it's just fun to listen to because there are plenty of like movie and game podcasts out there. I just hope people enjoy listening to it, and we have other plans in the future for videos and stuff, but definitely love getting like suggestions from people on like what to watch, and we have a few like 5 or 6 friends that we shout out, like you've been on the podcast a few times, and like so I definitely appreciate that. It's just the Keep Up podcast if you guys want to check it out. It's fun.
It was bumping it, but I think that I think we have a question, correct? Oh, okay. You just seemed like you were ready to tell us a question. So okay. So one thing, like, so one of the first episodes I had on the podcast was a fellow podcaster, and he was more in the range of putting out like 10, 15, 20 minutes a day. So he did every day of the year, and he was like, I think he had finished out a full year, and then he was a little beyond that of just 15 minutes a day. He did a podcast.
Wow, that's wild.
Me and you do like 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
And then every once in a while, like I try to keep to like once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I know you guys are. I mean, it might be close because you have.
It's been a minute.
86 episodes in 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's about, if you do the math real quick, it's kind of close.
Yeah, we've had some curveballs in there where like I was in Canada for 4 months, so we had to figure out how to do that. We've had the past year has been the hardest because at one point I was working days, he was working nights, so like there was just no way. Yeah. And when he started working his night job, he started school. Okay. So he's in day classes, he's working at night. So that's been hard to figure out. We put our first one, I think it was like a month ago. That was the first one in like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, because the last one before that you had posted before Christmas.
Yep. Yeah. So we're trying to get back in the flow, trying to figure that out. I think he just had finals, so he's a little more free.
He's ready to go.
It's all Tim's fault.
That's why I'm kind of stoked. Like my brother's about to finish school until the spring semester.
Cool.
And like we came here and we streamed for like half an hour, 2 hours. I forget what we streamed like 20 minutes after the podcast, and then we streamed for like an hour.
Yeah.
Just like on a whim.
That's sick.
And like it was so fucking fun
Yeah.
just to like do, just because it's almost a catalyst to hang out with like your family. Too.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like you might be hanging out with them, but like you're almost forcing the the environment to happen. So then like when you don't get a chance to see him because you have work, he has work.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice to like be like, all right, this is our schedule. We're gonna hang out once every 2 weeks or once a week.
Absolutely,
and then
yeah.
that's it. And then because sometimes it's tough with like family and like getting together and then
Totally.
just everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be tough. I mean, if it was easy enough to just like hit record whenever we saw each other, there would be more content.
Yeah.
Like if it was easier enough to just hit that and all the quality, like content was quality. Because I went over there like a week or two ago, and I don't even remember what I went over there for. I think I was stealing his computer because he was letting me borrow it. But we ended up playing games for like probably an hour and a half. We were just hanging out and we had a couple stupid conversations. And we always joke like, oh, we'll have to talk about that on the podcast. But like, that's why we started it. Because that's just what our interactions are like. So, but yeah, definitely. It's good. It's cool to have that chemistry on it. Even what's funny is like the first episode we recorded, we did it and we were like, that was pretty good. I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah. You walked away. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I'll still go back and listen. The audio quality is garbage, but I'll still listen to it.
Which is fine because if you're listening to on the phone anyways, you're expecting it. I mean, it's not like people are listening to like a high quality fucking studio bumping it. Through, like,
I mean,
big fucking bass speakers.
Yeah, it's funny because like if you listen to the first one, like the audio quality is much better now, but like the last episode had a huge hiccup because we tried to switch how we filmed it.
Okay.
So I moved the mic at one point. I put the mic back in. If you listen to it, it's after the TV section, and from then on, my audio goes like in and out. And I think when I put my mic back in the stand, it was sideways because it's a condenser. So like I was speaking into the side of it. So like that stuff will still happen. But like on the first episode, I just didn't know to turn the reverb off. So it sounds like we're in a friggin' tin can the whole time.
Church.
So it's like, yeah, exactly. Like it's so funny, but that's just the stuff you learn.
One thing, because we're edging the 1 hour mark right now, and usually at the 1 hour mark we usually take a piss break.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to get into is this new project.
Yeah.
If you want to even say it's a new project, and I want to play your new single, Las Plagas.
There you go, Las Plagas.
It's just the plagues in Spanish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So feel free to tell people the meaning of the song and then your project as a whole.
Yeah.
I mean,
talk about the whole project.
You don't need to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
We can talk about it briefly, go into the break, and then come back and talk about it
Cool.
more as a recap. But feel free to tell them what you want to know to introduce the song.
Absolutely. So this is the first official ATA stuff I've put out in about 5 years. Yeah, it's wild. So like I've gone through a lot of stuff like personally where I just like wasn't in a mind space to write, like depression, anxiety, just like crazy stuff that I never have really experienced before. And it like put a hold on a lot of things. And for a while I didn't know if I would even like do stuff anymore. Like I was like, maybe I'm done. So out of all of that, as art tends to, spawned like this whole concept of a series of releases, the first of which is this track, Las Plagas. It's going to be 3 total releases. This is just a standalone single. This isn't going to be on another album or anything like that. The next thing I have done, it's written, I'm in the process of recording. It's going to be called the Good Villain EP. So this whole series is essentially the Good Villain series. So this is the first installment. The second one is going to be a 3-track EP that will have a whole accompanying video. It's going to be I guess I won't say too much yet, but there will be multiple videos for that project.
Yep.
And then there will be one more release, which I don't want to say too much about yet, but there will be one more final release in the Good Villain series. So that's what Las Plagas is. It's the first one, and there's kind of an overarching theme, which if we want to get into it, we can kind of talk about after the track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play it real quick. We're gonna go piss. You got to drink real quick. We'll do that first, and then I'll put to my mouse. Okay, so we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back. This is Las Plagas. We'll be back in 3, 4, 5 minutes.
I mean, I ain't mad, only trying to turn slaying the game into a giant fad. Only trying to turn praying for fame into this lie I had. Stuck up in my brain, it's insane, the best day that I have had in a while was recently. I could smile, but a piece of me was being feasted on by the vile beast in me. And it recoils at the thought of releasing me, but I plead with it to just have some decency. But this cannibal animal can't stand it all and manages to do damages greater than a flammable cannonball. And now it's all repair, step by step, stare by stare. You can find me sitting in the broken chair, wondering if I've ever even really been safe there. So I haven't been the best, and I'm hoping that the mess that I left is forgiven. But that's just me, man. How you living? Yeah, how you living? Man, how you living? Man, how you living? But that's just me, man. How you living? I mean, I'm okay, only trying to stay seeing the sun, whether it's night or day. Only trying to not be so undone at every sign of gray. Yeah, it's fun to run from something, but I cannot rhyme away every little thing I've been destroying these days. But I've been enjoying these days in my unavoidable cage. Like, what's the point of the rays if the sun just gon' burn me? Then I point at my rage like I'm done, just unlearn me. But I'm positive it knew me before, cause all this gloomy decor is just cutting through me, I'm sure. Bro, they don't know me, you don't know me, I don't know me no more. My own reflection look for it is a Peruvian shore, cause of the pest in my chest, I bet. Nevertheless, I digress, just a test, but yet, yeah, I guess I'm kinda stressed, and I never know what's next, ain't no rest for a villain. But that's just me, man, how you living? Yeah, how you living? Man, how you living? Man, how you living? But that's just me, man, how you living?
We're good. we almost just lost everything. You didn't need to do a separate transport for me. We're good. What do you, oh, you need the rum. I was like, why are you over here? And she's like, well,
I have my reasons.
I got a little something. Yeah, because we were freaking out. She brings, so it's not ShotBet without the shot glasses,
right.
But I didn't bring the shot glasses.
Nah.
So she brought it over, and then the whole fucking station almost collapsed. We're
that
like,
was
all right.
almost it.
Tell the people what they were just listening to.
That was a little transition song that you play between every transition.
Okay. Tell the people about the song before the transition.
So Las Plagas. That's what you were listening to. You were listening to Las Plagas. Yeah, first track in 5 years. It was. I've actually been sitting on that track for maybe 2. I've had the first verse done and recorded. The majority of that was recorded with Jesse. What happened?
Geez. We each got one.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh
my god. I was recording.
Side note, shout outs to Ian because I'm fucking dying that he just bashed anyone that listens to a podcast in the studio, and he's just bumping this fucking podcast in his studio. But he said your song sounded good, so
sick. Stoked to hear that. Yeah. So shout outs on that to Jesse Clinton, who he produced the beat, and I recorded the first verse and the hook at his spot when he was still in the area. He moved recently. He's out in LA. And then to my buddy Jordan Fisher, aka Macro, who mixed the second verse and did the overall mix.
Oh my god, so. I'm so pissed. What
are you pissed about? What happened?
Like when we have if we go on the second break, tag him, because I was gonna hit him up and be like, hey yo, what's good? And then I realized I didn't know he was Macro. I just saw him showing love for the podcast, and then I was like, oh, like, who's this dude? And then I remember him because I'm like friends with him on Facebook, but I couldn't remember the context.
You know what's so funny is so we worked together. That's how we met. When I started working with him, it was right before last year's show.
Okay.
That I did a full set at, and when I was there, I had only met him like, I don't even remember. It was probably within like the month. And I got there and I was on stage and looked down and saw Jordan, and I was like, "Yo, what's up?"
Yeah,
and
I think that's where I met him too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because are we playing another track at some point?
We will be.
Okay.
Or I mean, if you got to piss, well, I mean, we can just cut out like halfway.
We'll
through
see.
the
Whatever.
Just be like, fuck it. Like, let's play a song.
Yeah. So if we get to another track tonight, that was actually the first verse that I had written in a really, really long time, and it's one of Jordan's beats. Bonfire. So one of his instrumentals. So he does EDM. He's been producing a lot of hip hop stuff lately, and it's just a really cool. He has such a cool range in his production, and he asked me to do a verse, and I was like, yeah, I haven't written anything in forever, and that was kind of me getting back into the swing. And so I hit him up
Was that before the show? Oh, it must
No,
have.
no, this was like after.
So
like,
he saw
the
you
original show.
perform and he was stoked about it.
Yeah, well, this was after because we had just kind of starting to talk at work and stuff like
Okay.
that, and then he was like, "Oh, I didn't know you do." Like when he saw me like
Yeah.
get on stage, he was like, "What?" Like I was just some dude from work at that point. So it was just funny, and then we kind of clicked on that, and we're working on another track right now that I'm so stoked on, but more on that hopefully soon. Yeah. It's a big collaboration with us and a couple other guys, and it's gonna be super dope. I can't wait till that's out. But I hit him up about Las Plagas, and he mixed the vocals.
No shit.
And which I was stoked about because, like I said, I've been sitting on that one verse for like 2 years, and then I recorded the second verse at my place, and I wanted it to be. I was like, I don't know if we can make these levels sound right,
Yeah.
but he killed it. So all the responses have been really good on the mix, and so that track's just very much about like having something inside you that you don't fully understand, like a part of you that you didn't expect to be faced with.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the kickoff to the whole Good Villain series, which is just a lot about, it's very introspective, but it's also a lot about like changing and kind of like facing the differences in the current you versus the past you, and growth and stuff like that. So that's where that track comes from.
So I got to talk shit real quick.
Yeah, do it.
So first off, I'm pissed that this song is like 2 years old.
Yeah, it's been.
And secondly, you've been talking shit that you're the fucking better fighting game kid.
Did I say that? I
I
feel
mean,
like. I mean,
I'm gonna speak for you. You're like, hey man, you want to play a game that I'm competitive in?
feel
Let's
like
play
maybe.
a fighting game. And then I said, what fighting game?
Yeah.
I have like none, but I have the new Mortal Kombat. So for you guys today, we are going to play Mortal Kombat, and we may need to see real quick. All right,
Are we
we're
in?
here, boys.
All right,
that was
we're
too.
in.
All right, okay. I was afraid because I told you about what happened last time.
Yeah, you did tell me about that.
It's not gonna happen again.
I also
We
got
are
nervous.
in the building. We are switching over.
Okay.
And I gotta tell
We're
you right
switching
now,
over? Yep.
I have played maybe 3 matches. In
I think
this,
I've played 3 as well.
so
we
it's
should be
even,
pretty evenly. Yeah.
But I will say,
Is that you or is that me? Oh, I gotta.
1 second.
I'm gonna sneeze. We're good though. I'm fine.
Okay.
What
Oh,
happened?
it's because you're
Okay.
you're on my profile. So if you do good, it's because I did good.
Okay, that's fair. So there's a new EP coming out. That's it.
That's it. No, I thought it was gonna take much longer while we're.
That's fine.
Oh my god,
Bro, you
what
gotta
are
sign
kidding
in.
Me?
Oh
Are
my
you kidding me?
gosh, this is wild.
Continue without saving.
Yo, they got the K on there. Did you see that? Continue with
Yeah, I
a
know.
K.
Oh.
Unbelievable. Are you in?
Okay.
Oh, who's? Why are we both player 2? You're player 1. Who's?
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Bro, we got new.
All right, I'm going Sub-Zero.
Replay
bud.
Sub-Zero.
I'm
Goodness
sorry.
gracious, no, that's cool. Who did I even play as?
For those of you tuning in, if you've ever played a Mortal Kombat in your life or the MK11, let us know in the comments who's your favorite character, or if you've played MK11 and what you think about it. I am a little upset that they took out running in this game, so it's more little. Your spacing's different in this game. Oh,
Okay.
no way.
Yeah, I mean, I played
No
it a lot. in
way.
10. I don't know.
Sub-Zero.
I'm going. I don't even know what this fucking means. I'm just gonna go with the.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, let's fucking.
Challenge.
Oh, that's
Look.
fucking dope.
Yeah, I'm already beating you.
Oh, that's bullshit. All right, I'm gonna do. Ice
Oh, I'm
Cap.
supposed to do a thing too?
Oh yeah, I
All
guess
right.
so.
All right, we'll do what you're the host.
Sea Dragon and Rock.
Oh, now you're beating me. All right, I don't know
Fucking
what.
go.
I don't know what's about to go down. All right.
Can we pause and like look at our controls?
I
Is
mean,
that- is
yeah,
that
yeah,
okay?
no, that's fair.
Just like this, real quick.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
I'm just gonna talk. I kind of know what's going on right now. There's only a couple buttons, but feel free
Okay.
to look at it. We're not. I don't even care about the fucking easy fatalities. It seems like it's right trigger A or right trigger B. So that way,
That's easy.
You could probably be fucking.
Yo,
cool.
remember when fatalities were impossible?
Impossible,
Like,
dude.
And
Oh
every
my
round
God.
just ended with you slapping someone. He's
or
like,
just like
yeah.
just going up
Everyone.
and down. You're like,
Dude, that down kick, that weird crouch
and then you're
kick.
just like, and
Yeah.
then like you're fucking. Oh,
It's the worst.
You ready
yeah.
for this?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Oh,
All right.
You are talented, but brash.
Remind you of anyone we
let's
know?
fucking go.
Unfortunate.
Let's go.
All right. Okay. All right.
Fight.
All right, let's go,
All
baby.
right. We got. Oh, this.
Oh,
How are you? All right. All right. Hold up. There it is. Oh no. Nope. All right. I thought I knew what I was doing here.
probably embarrassing for anyone that likes fighting games. Fuck you.
It is, bro.
Fuck you. No way.
It's kind of garbage because I play a lot of Injustice. You play Injustice at all?
A little bit, yeah. So it's kind of like the same mechanics.
A little bit, but I'm playing all these combos that like. Oh, come on! I was right on you.
I don't know how to grab these things. All right, I guess I can do that. We did the same thing.
Fatal blow. What's that garbage?
It's left trigger and right trigger. Oh, I'm so pissed. I bet you yours is a fucking like. Oh, no way, no way! The fucking butt of the gun and.
Ooh, oh my god! Takes forever. The bubble gum.
Round 2.
Savage.
Fight.
Oh, alright. No. Nope.
Whoop.
Alright. No. Dude, I cannot learn these moves. That's driving me crazy.
Fucking go. All right.
All right.
All right.
Hold
Third
on.
round. Final round.
Final round. Fight.
Oh, what the fuck was that?
That was a thing I just learned right now. What up? No! Stop! Why won't my hands let me do something different? Oh, that's how you do that.
Oh, grab.
Alright, it's not looking great for me.
It's okay.
Is it? I'm the guest, you jerk.
I should let you in, but.
No, don't.
Oh, fuck.
This is what I get for choosing. I should have chosen Kang.
Finish her.
Alright.
If you end me with a kick, I'm gonna make fun of you so hard.
I did R and A.
Yeah, what
I
happened?
didn't do anything.
Alright.
That's it.
Okay, well.
That's it. We don't need to talk about this. All right, I'm gonna switch back.
Alright.
All right, so all right, I feel like an asshole, but I just fucking pissed. But before we like drift topics,
Yeah.
let's just play the fucking let's just play the song.
You play Bonfire?
Yeah, I'm gonna play Bonfire. 'Cause
Dope.
I'm like fucking like this.
You
like,
gotta
getting
go.
ready.
Yo. All right, so everybody check out Macro. He's on SoundCloud. He's on Facebook. He's on Instagram. He's all over the place. Macro, Jordan Fisher. He produced this whole track. This also has a vocalist on it called Farisha.
Oh my god,
And
so
then
good.
me, so good, dude.
So good.
Vocals are great. Jordan's working on so much stuff. I think he's still planning on putting out a track every single week. He has a bunch of stuff on deck that he's been sitting on. So enjoy this track.
All right, and I'm gonna go fucking piss.
Yeah, do that.
Which, by the way, for those of you tuning in that are taking shot every single time I piss, you're up to 2 shots right now. So let's go.
Is that a game people play?
Some people play.
Okay, cool.
Break 2. Be right back.
As I
I'm always on the hunt, but I never seek what I really need. I'd rather see what I'll never be. That's probably why I leave my mind on a stretcher. A mental image I've designed, applying pressure. I know you had to see me decline, and God bless you. Know you try to free me, and I should probably let you. But you try to give me love, I don't even know how to take it. And though you give me all your trust, I know that I tend to break it. I know it's still the two of us, so how I feeling so fake it. The realest thing I got right now is even I don't want fake it. So I'm bringing it to the surface just to kill it, yeah. This thing that hurts is working just to feel it. Cause the fire we live, you know, is it never burning flame. And I'm hoping that you'll always continue calling my name.
Back. Hey. We do not need another break. We are just in it. I didn't even let you know. I was just like, we're back in it. We're just going.
Here we are.
So that was the new song Macro featuring you and
Farisha.
Yeah. I've looked at the name. I know how to spell it, and then that's it. I didn't even know how to.
I only know it because Jordan said it a lot. So we work together. So I heard him say Farisha a lot.
So we kind of just skipped over me beating you in Mortal Kombat.
It was.
So I just want to like talk about.
I didn't want to talk about it a whole lot.
No, we can though. Like this is the perfect time. So it's the second half.
Yeah.
Where most people won't catch it, so this is the perfect time to just admit defeat.
Here's the thing.
You're in the dungeon.
In MK10, I played a lot of Cassie Cage, and I was good. Not the case in this one, it seems. So.
That's how I feel with Smash, dude. I cannot play Captain Falcon anymore.
Oh, really?
I used to
That's
love
wild.
Captain.
I haven't really played him in this one.
You can pop it up there.
This?
Yeah, no.
I'm scared I'm going to knock this over.
No, you're good.
I kick our table all the time on the podcast.
Oh, really?
Like, all the time,
dude. I fucking hate it because I get the leg right here. So I'm just like a really good host, and I just pretend like we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
So one thing that you're a strong advocate for is gaming as a whole.
Yeah.
Is there gaming that you're like? Is there games that stand out to you right now? Whether it's like one from way back in the day that you just really got into, or something that came out recently that you're getting into.
Oh, that's tough. So I've been in backlog mode lately. I am rarely able to afford like when a bunch of games come out. There's so much stuff that like I'm super stoked on Borderlands 3 being announced. It's not even out yet, obviously, but I just played Borderlands. I beat it earlier this year, I think.
Or whatever?
And I had never played any of them at all, and I have 2 sitting on my Xbox too, which I haven't played yet.
Dude, the pre-sequel.
Yeah,
so
I have that too.
Good.
So I want to play those before I get 3.
Dude, pre-sequel is so you can play as Claptrap.
Yeah.
So
what?
Fucking,
Oh, that's
dude,
wild.
So
I
dope.
can't wait.
You can play as
So
Claptrap, and you can play as Handsome Jack.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking dope.
Dude, I loved
the other
first
characters
one.
are kind of like the generic characters from the first and second one.
Yeah.
But like playing as Handsome Jack, when like Handsome Jack is kind of involved in the story, so he's talking to himself in the story.
Oh, really?
So the dialogue is catered to the humor that he's like, why the fuck? Why am I talking to myself?
Dude, I
and
love
then
that.
Claptrap just has that.
The humor is so
perfect
good.
Humor, yeah.
Yeah. So I was stoked about that announcement. There's a bunch of stuff I want to play right now, but can't because it's either PS4 exclusive, or I don't have a Switch yet either, which sucks.
Oh, you're fine.
I know, dude, it's the worst.
You need to.
I just been playing a bunch of stuff that's been like I've gotten games with gold, or like I have the BioShock collection, which has all the DLC, and those are some of my favorite games ever.
One of my favorite games is BioShock Infinite.
Yeah. Oh, it's great,
It's my favorite because I'm
good.
a huge time travel and parallel fucking.
Dude, the
universe.
ending of that.
It's oh my god,
that
dude.
game is so good.
I'm so like it sucks because there's so many people that haven't played it. That's hard to just cheese to like the overall concept. Like even like you like going to like flip heads or tails and picking which one, and they're like, oh yeah, we knew you were gonna pick that. Or, like, this is,
dude,
so
everything
dope.
about it, it's crazy.
It's
and like
written so well.
This is what I have a hard time with games like. I have there's so many games I want to revisit because they're like my favorites, but then like it's not like watching a movie. It's, you know what I mean? It's not like watching an episode of a show. It's like BioShock's probably like 8 to 12 hours. The first one would be my guess. So like, and that's not like crazy, but for me, that's like I mostly play at night. So like, I got to figure out like how many nights am I going to stay up way too late to replay this game.
Who do we have on the, I'm going to be asshole. Who do we have on the podcast last? Danny right? Phantom. Yeah. So Danny Phantom, me and him talked about it. It's like we both got Red Dead Redemption 2, but we couldn't get. We played 40, 50 hours in Red Dead 1, and then we got into this one, and we couldn't get into it because it's so long. It's such a commitment. You have to spend because you can't jump into it for 20 minutes. Yeah, you have to commit like a 1 hour, 2 hour span.
Yeah, you at least exactly. That's been my issue with like. Apologies to anyone who starts listening to the Keep Up and realizes how often I talk about Resident Evil. Yeah. But that's one of my things with the Resident Evil 2 came out. Dude, I was out of my mind when they announced that. Yeah. I'm still only like probably like 2.5 to 3 hours in. Yeah. Just because like I know I can't sit down and just like play that real quick. So like it's been tough to like get into longer games. So I've been playing a ton of like indies and like shorter games. We can talk Celeste.
Oh
I know you friggin'.
I wrote it down.
I can't believe the hours that you have in Celeste.
What do you mean? You looked it up?
Tim looked it up to compare the other day, and he's like, "Look at JB." I was like, "Oh my god, dude! Like that dude went in on that."
It's not even playing a shitload. You know, it's not. It took me a while to complete the game. Yeah. Because I completed the game
and I didn't even come close to complete. So like I beat
story and then I beat the A sides, B sides, and then 90% of the C sides. Dude. And then, but what most of it was me and my buddy Moses, and feel free to tag him so I can talk shit. Me and my buddy Moses replayed the first world over and over and over. Yeah. In a speed running environment. Oh, so really? we would look at like the top, of the world and then try to better our scores. Yeah. So like we would, like the first round you'd like take 30 minutes or an hour to take it. And then all of a sudden you get into the next and then you're like, oh, I beat this in 5 minutes without doing collectibles. And then you're like, oh, I did it in 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. And like we would like race each other, like countless hours was just invested into speedrunning. So it's not even like I played a lot of like the whole campaign. I got stuck
just like repeating levels.
I played I probably have 10 hours in the first level.
Yeah.
No lie, like just dude, like staying up. Just I want to get more into speedrunning, but some of the exact inputs and like in the harder mechanics, I can't get into because I watch it and it almost looks like what the fuck is it called when they have
like mods? Or
yeah, like they program a computer to speedrun it. I fucking forget what it is.
I know.
They program it so that like it gets as fast as run. So like some of the mechanics that people are doing are that fast, and I'm like, I don't even know how to fucking do this. Like I tried speed running the whole game. I beat the whole core game to like just to beat it in under an hour. I got under an hour.
No way.
So then I was trying to perfect more and more and more, and I streamed with her because she was speed running the first level too. Oh, so she was like getting like, I think she was like sub 2 minutes and 30 and whatever. We were getting super into it, and she was crushing. But like that's where all my hours are. It's just 1 minute. Like because what happens is you get close to the end, and you know if you're gonna make your time or not. Oh so then you reset it, and then you're back.
Dude. Brutal. The game's so good though. It's so good. It's unbelievable. Right from the jump, like Tim had been like on me about playing it. He's like, you got to play Celeste, and I was like, I don't know, like maybe. And so one night, what I'll do is like, I love lining up when I know I'm gonna beat a game, so that I have enough time that night to start a new one. Yeah. So that was Celeste for me. I was like, well, I know I'm gonna beat this game tonight. I'll try Celeste. And as soon as I started, I was like, because like right from the jump, like the music and everything, like it's unbelievable.
And they're releasing new DLC, which I'm kind of upset that it hasn't, because it would have been dope to do like a post-podcast, that would have been like super first cool. like impression. Yeah. But I think one of the things I love about the game, and I won't spoil like the later half of it, but like there's a underlying layer of depression and anxiety throughout the entire thing that you face your shadow or whatever and your counterpart, and it's just such a beautiful development of character in an indie game, which is tough to do because you're limited by graphics and pixels.
Yeah, they did it very efficiently. Like by the end, you have this whole like complete story and characters that you care about and have been recurring, and all the while it's like it like the mechanics are cool and like it's very puzzly and like it's like challenging and it's just so fun. Like it's a great game.
And it won like best music, and it won like it was like runner up for like best game of the year and shit like that. Like it did very fucking well.
So cool.
And like I think I told you guys about it, but me and my buddy Moses have been following that creator for like
you told me about
10
that.
years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we were on Game Maker, which is like a program that it's simplified to drag and drop, or you can drag and drop commands.
Okay.
So that way you don't have to learn the programming of it.
Oh, cool.
And then it helps you learn the programming of it because you're just doing drag and drop. So if like if and then statements where if this condition happens, then this command, condition happens.
Yeah.
And we got super big into it, and there was these forums that you would go into there, and people would post games that were like very like versed in programming.
Yeah.
And he was one of them, and we played this game called Jumper, which was just a platformer. So we knew when this game was announced to be like a really good platformer that the platforming mechanics were going to be so dope because he had so many years of experience in it.
Yep.
And he did Towerfall as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I didn't realize that. Like going in, I didn't know what I was getting into, especially because it was so sometimes like the games with gold. Yeah. I was like this month's. Did you see this month's? Dude, what? It's garbage.
It's golf and
like,
no, Marooners is dope.
Oh, I haven't played Marooners.
Marooners is like a Mario Party-esque game.
Okay.
And what they do is you do like 20-second segments of each mini game.
Yeah.
And then it like there's chaos mode where it switches between it. So imagine like doing what's the game in Mario Party where you hit the balls against each other to knock each other off?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Imagine playing that 20 seconds and then it switches to another mini game halfway through, and then it goes back to it, and no one wins until someone wins or everyone's eliminated. So it's really cool, but it's again like a $10 game. So like, you're only getting what.
Oh man, that's kind of cool. All right, maybe I'm being too harsh. And also like typically, like I know it's just
last
golf,
month was garbage.
But like, what was last month? I don't even remember.
Exactly.
All right, yeah. Dude, some months it's funny when I first signed up for Games with Gold. When I first got, how do you? Wait, you just get gold. You just get gold. It was like Borderlands 2. I don't know why I started this sentence because I don't remember. It was like 2 years ago. But it was a bunch of good stuff, and I was like, games. But like a couple of the
now
months
it's like super hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like it's like if you didn't want the game in the first place, you're not gonna get it.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, I'm such a completist that like if I download something, I have to beat it. It drives me crazy.
She gets so pissed at me,
bro. It's like a mental condition.
Achievement 100%.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm always racing you and your brother for the
dude, my
top
brother,
spot.
he's out of control. And
insane.
Like, dude, my achievements aren't even there because I'm story. Like, I'll go through, get the story. If there are certain achievements that I think are like within reach, I'll do it. But like, I just beat Grow Up. Did you ever play Grow Up? It's like the robot.
Yeah.
Game.
It was one of the free games from before. A couple months ago.
Yeah, and it's really cool. It's actually a sequel to Grow Home, I think it's called.
Okay.
And it's really cool. And honestly, achievement-wise, it's pretty simple. But it's just like 100%ing. Like you grab onto plants and you identify them by like logging them. It's like logging a Pokemon in your Pokedex, right? So
or it's like Red Dead where you have to find all the plants.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. So you can do that. I beat the game and got to the end of the story. And at the end of the story, you return to your ship, and it shows like basically the ship says something to you. So I looked up like what's the difference if I 100% these things? Because it probably wouldn't take me too long, but a couple hours.
Yeah.
And the ending is not really any different. It just says different things on the screen. I was like, next, like I'm moving on to something else. So, but Tim is like, I'm getting
100. Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, he's something else. I mean, I'm probably half his achievements, and I'm fucking anal about it.
Yeah.
And I think the rise of games like Battle Royales is because there's that quick burst where like you play around and then you're done in 15 minutes because you don't have 2 hours to commit to it.
True.
And one game that we've been getting into, me and like Kat and a bunch of other people, is Dead by Daylight, which is so
dude,
fun.
I've been dying to play that game.
Get it.
Yeah.
Get it. Play with us, dude. It's so dope. And it's one of those success stories that happened over time because the game did well.
Yeah.
But with Twitch and stream getting bigger and bigger over time, it's become so much better. And like,
bro,
I know I'm dying. It's gotten like to a point where like they're still releasing DLC from 3 years ago. The game came out 3 years ago, and they just announced Ghostface from Scream
Yep.
is new DLC.
Oh, that's
so like
sick.
so what they do is like they have a core dozen killers or whatever, and then a core dozen survivors. And then over time, what they do is they license more killers and more survivors. So they have like Ash from Evil Dead.
I saw that.
They have like Detective Trap from Saw. But then you have killers and you have Leatherface. You have Friday the 13th. You have Nightmare on Elm Street. You have Saw. You have now you have Scream. Dude, you have wild. All the fucking killers, and it's a little repetitive because what you do is you repair generators while avoiding getting killed and then getting to the end point. But if you're in a core group of like 4, because we'll play we have 4 people, and then sometimes we have 6 where we kind of rotate who's killer or whatever. If you're playing 4 ranked, it's so much more fun because you're like, all right, I'm at this generator. You guys rotate to the next one. I'll meet you there, and then you're playing actually strategically.
That's sick. I love that.
While,
that's so good.
There's so many games that's tough to get into just because you don't have a group to play with.
Right. Yeah.
Fortnite,
absolutely.
I got sick of if I don't have a squad.
Totally. There's a handful of people that I work with that when I've played together with them, super fun. Outside of that, I'm like, meh. I'd kind of rather play something story based.
Exactly. Yeah.
But to speak to what you were saying about Dead by Daylight, Tim and I went to PAX last year. And they had a huge presence. And this year they had just as big of a presence. And we were surprised because they had this whole a whole section, basically it was a whole setup where everybody around it was playing, and then there were people inside this whole structure playing. So it was just as big of a presence this year as if they were announcing it or something. But it was because they were announcing Ash. There were 3 other people.
They just announced Twitch challenges too. So if you're one of the higher ups streaming for it, you can have people join your game, and then they get awarded like bronze, silver, gold, and everything like that for how well they're playing inside of your game. So
that's cool.
There's a huge Twitch integration, which is making the game more popular because they're catering to it. That's why Fortnite is doing well, because it's kind of catering. It's doing a lot of fan service.
That's really cool.
I don't know. For those of you tuning in, we just talked about Celeste and Dead by Daylight. If you guys want to see us play afterwards, just comment which one you want to see, and maybe we'll play afterwards. Maybe we'll play the first level of Celeste, or maybe we'll play the first level of Celeste. You play it, and then I'll play it, and I'll show you some of the the speed running strats, and then or we can play Dead by Daylight, and then maybe my girlfriend will play along, and because she has her own separate Xbox TV. We play side by side and get we turn off the lights and get super into it because you get freaked out because there's some killers that go invisible and then they ring a fucking bell and then they're right next to you ready to kill you, and you're like, what the fuck?
Screw that.
It's so fun though. One thing we like to do on the second half, even though it's been the second half for half an hour, is we like to take Instagram questions.
Okay.
I know you posted the Instagram and I posted Instagram.
Yeah.
If you guys want to submit for future episodes, follow ShotBet Podcast. You can find it Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and we'll go into it. But before we do, I got a surprise for you.
You gonna pee again?
I'm gonna pee again.
Hey ATA, your biggest fan here.
Aww.
So my question for you is, what is your favorite song that you've ever written?
First of all, she is cute.
I am not commenting. You have, but I reached out to her. I was like, you gotta send something.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I got you.
Favorite song that I've ever written.
I know.
I hope that got on the mic. That's tough. Did you say ATA specifically?
You want me to go back to it?
Let's play that back. No, we don't have to.
We can.
So, because it's tough because my favorite song that I've written.
I mean, give one of each. Give generically
Damn,
and then
babe.
an ATA song.
Yeah. So, what's fresh in my mind because it just happened, as just in general songs that I've written, is a buddy of mine, Mike May, passed away a couple months ago, and so we play in a band called A Common Goal, and the day after I found out that he had passed away, I went to our practice space and I wrote a song on his guitar the next day because I tried to go to work, and it was just like I was like in shock, and the next day I was walking into work and lost it, dude. Like I'm like walking through work, just like bawling my eyes out. And I went and talked to my manager, and I was like, I can't be here. And he was like, yeah, go. And I was like, I don't know where to go. So I went to the practice space and I wrote this song, and we ultimately, like me and the other 2 dudes in the band, finished it. And Mike was the vocalist and wrote a lot of the songs. So it was like this weird like experience where we had to figure out how to finish writing this song, and so we finished writing it. I do some of the vocals. Scott and Jay, the other 2 dudes in the band, do some of the vocals. So it was very collaborative. Yeah. And when we recorded it, it was like this unreal experience where it's like one of the best songs we've ever written. Yeah. And it'll be out on a compilation, like a tribute compilation pretty soon cool. on Thumper Punk Records. So if you guys are into punk at all, you can look up A Common Goal. That track will be out soon. I'll be sharing that all over the place too. So that's just like, it's very, obviously very personal. And then I think my favorite animatronic song that I've written is Rats. Off of, that's tough, but I think it's Rats because that song was very particularly, what's the word?
I just listened to the original version on guitar.
Oh, I forgot that I did that. Yeah. That was dope. That's funny. I totally forgot that I did that. Yeah, lyrically, that song. So I kind of mentioned earlier, like I'm very like self-conscious about a lot of things and OCD, and so like a lot of what that has equated to in the past is dwelling on things that I've like said and done and stuff that's like a decade past. Just thinking back on something that I said. So that track, Rats is about like. The little things like picking at me, like that I will think about, and it'll be stuck like just eating away at me. And that track was me like, I'm gonna go in here and lay out like everything. So there are very specific things in there, like names that I mention, very specific events. Like I talk about something I did at a particular Christmas. So it's very like specific, but I didn't want it to sound so specific that it was unrelatable. Yeah. So, and I think that I did that. And also that was a song where I was particularly trying to like slow down. And I think it's noticeable because there's not a lot of like trickery in my flow or anything like that. It's just like pretty straightforward, but I feel like it hits kind of hard. So I think Rats is definitely like one of my favorite songs I've written. Good shit. Yeah.
Well, that's your one surprise.
Hey, ATA.
Hey, there she is again.
I guess it's a double surprise.
Hey, girl.
Nope.
Okay, all right.
No, we won't get into it.
What a
all
roller coaster.
We're going to go into the first Instagram question. And this is from Collection Revolution, which is your brother. And he wants to know, what is your least favorite fighting game characters?
Ooh, least favorite? MODOK from Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I hate his little kicks. And I hate the way he looks. So MODOK is one. My other least favorite fighting game characters. Man, I hated Jigglypuff in Smash for so long, dude. Because when it was mostly if someone like wrecked me with Jigglypuff, it was just something.
It's just like a hit to the soul.
Yeah, it was like felt personal. Like
which
I don't.
is why I played Jigglypuff for so long.
I was so mad about
Dude,
that.
My
like
tag when I play like any Smash is Wigglytuff because I used to main Jigglypuff. For that reason, because I knew it was a hit to the soul.
It absolutely is, because like I couldn't play Jigglypuff, so I would try, and I'd be like, "No, this is garbage. Nobody can be good with Jigglypuff." And then I would get murdered with Jigglypuff, and I'm so mad about it. So that would be one. Trying to think, what else? Are there any? I feel like there are some fighting game like characters where I just like aesthetically are so displeasing, like I just don't like to look at them, so I can't play as them. Like there was a dude in Super Street Fighter 4. Oh, what was his name? He was like a huge round dude in a yellow tracksuit, and he said things like,
Kat, feel free to look that up. Super Street Fighter.
Street Fighter 4. I think his name. I think it started with an R. He was like a big. Should I look? This is how I play it on my. That's how I play it on my podcast.
We just like podcast. You're like, all right. That's the thing. That's the crazy thing about smartphones is you can fucking just look it up.
Yeah, I straight up just Googled Street Fighter 4 fat guy Rufus. I was close, Rufus, but I was actually really good with him. I don't know who that is, but I probably hate him.
She definitely doesn't know who it is. I'm like kind of clueless. I know some Street Fighter, and then I get like after like the core characters, I get like fuck. Oh jeez. Oh,
bro.
Whoop.
And we're back.
We're back. I don't know who my least favorite. I was trying to think of it while the question was being like. I thought it was okay, so when he initially sent it to me,
Yep.
I thought it was least favorite fighting games. And then I was like, all right, that might be a little bit easier just because like I don't want to bash Street Fighter, but I can't get into it.
Yeah.
There's some games I can't get into, and I don't know
Really?
if it's just like the combo mechanics. Like I can't like get super into.
Oh,
it. Like,
man.
Street Fighter, I can't like I'll play like Tekken, and I'll.
So you like Tekken?
I like Tekken.
Tekken is very different. Actually, King. I don't really like King.
No, King is so dope.
Okay, I don't like wrestling characters.
I like Panda.
I can't. But like Panda, all you can do is slap, and you have to be this close.
Kangaroo.
I like fast characters.
Dude, Kangaroo is fucking
Tekken's dope.
fire.
Do you play 7 at all?
I
Did
thought
you?
about it.
Yeah.
I almost bought it like 7 times.
Dude, all right. Tekken 7 drives me. I love that game.
Don't play online.
It's 60 extra. No, I can't play anything online. Everybody's better than me at everything online. I can't play. But
Play Dead by
Tekken's
Daylight,
dope.
dude.
Oh yeah, I gotta play that.
We got a core 4, and then you can play up to 5 people online. So even if like, because what happens is we play couples. So I play with Kat. My brother plays with his fiance. My buddy Moses plays with his wife.
Okay.
So that way we always have a 4.
Yeah.
But you can. It's hard to play 5 or 6 because you can only play 5. So you have one person spectating almost every other round. So it's like you got to play. And it's so dope. I just bought. So with the characters, you have to pay for the licensing. So if you want like Friday the 13th or like Michael Myers from Halloween or whatever, you have to pay for those DLC.
Okay, yeah.
So you get the core characters that Dead by Daylight created, but then if you want like someone that's like
Which you gotta get the DLC.
Dude, it's so
that's the thing I was gonna vent about with Tekken, and I vented about this on the last podcast is the Keep Up podcast, not your podcast.
Yeah.
I love being here though. I'm not trying to talk about another podcast. But it's $60 for the core game, right? And then if you add up all the DLC to get the 7 extra characters, another $60, which is like that's wild to me. Right? Am I wrong there?
No, you're not wrong.
All right, cool. That's
What's like people are complaining about the MK11 DLC because like they said like you either have to grind 6,000 hours or pay 2,000.
Right? Yeah. It's
like,
I don't know.
Are you kidding me?
I miss unlocking characters.
Yeah.
Like,
I get if they're in production. Like I feel like I don't know if like Nintendo is like just pulling the fucking rug on me. But it feels like they're making characters after the game has been released, so that at least you feel that comfort. But it's like some games, it's like you know you're going into it when you're not going to have the whole game.
Yeah.
And then you got to pay. Mm-hmm. I get like when it was TMNT like being released for Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah,
I got it because it was released after.
Oh yeah, right.
But like, and then you had to pay for like the licensing of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But
yeah, I got those. I think that was like $30 ultimately for 6 characters. I think, but I mean that is even reasonable to me. But for the full, like the original full price of the game again, feels like I don't know. That's just wild.
Yeah,
but
I feel the same way.
Yeah, that's a good question. Least favorite fighting game characters.
What do 5 fingers say to the face?
Don't
do it.
This is listen. I don't know where to go with this. I
thought you were gonna slap me.
I thought it crossed my mind.
I was like, I'm distancing myself.
I was gonna say it depends on the relationship. It could say, hey,
no,
hang here for a little while.
Don't do it.
I like when you're here.
Don't do it.
Or it could be. It could
no,
be like
no.
It could.
No.
It could be other things.
Okay.
I won't slap you on live television.
It's okay because if you did slap me, I would have put it on Instagram for everyone to see numerous times.
It could say.
No.
You just like over and over again.
Just looping. D. Dooley wants to know what's the deal with your fascination of robots?
Do I have a fascination of robots?
Well, I mean, like your merch is animatronic.
Oh, true. That's
name is animatronic.
So for a while, so the name. The name is like long and ridiculous, and for a while it like, I guess still, it was just like taking, I don't know why I came up with the name, Animatronic the Abolisher. Like it had meaning to it, but I didn't like, I don't know where it came from. It literally all felt like it was dropped in my head when I thought about it. I remember calling Rachel, I don't even think we were married at the time, And I called her and I was like, hey, I think I know what my rap name's going to be. And I had bounced around with a couple different things. I was going to call myself Berserk because I just finished watching the anime and I was stoked on it.
There's another Berserk in fucking New England, so you'd be kind of.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, I found one at the time
Hampshire.
who I think was in a British rapper named Berserk, and he had a bunch of stuff out. So I was like,
so you know the show that I had, one of the openers, they have a group called El Supreme.
Yeah.
1/3 of the group is Berserk.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you had a little battle. With them.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, all right, I can't do that. But I remember I was thinking about it. I was working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car at the time, and I was moving a car, and I was like, oh, Animatronic the Abolisher, like all at once. Like, what are those words? Nobody just uses those words. So I called Rachel. I was like, I know what my rap name is. She's like, what? And I told her, and there's like a pause, and she's like, okay. Yeah, and I was like, all right, cool. So that's what that is. But then like, so some of the like feedback I got from performances was like animatronic kind of fits like the way that you move on stage.
Yeah.
And then I kind of
and
then I wrote like this whole sci-fi story about who the character of Animatronic the Abolisher is.
So dope.
And that's what I used as the opening track on We Are Weapons. Yep. And then the merch was just supposed to go along with that. Like, what does animatronic look like? And the robot was drawn by my friend Katrina Davis. She sketched that out, and I was like, yeah, that's what he looks like. Yeah. So that was definitely like that whole era, and I kind of just stuck to I liked the idea of having a character and being on stage as like a different character and giving this backstory, which I feel like was a season of like Animatronic the Abolisher, and now I'm kind of like moving on to something a little bit different. But that's what the whole robot focus was.
Well, I know you're ATA.
No, I think I wanted to stay because part of the decision was like, it just things are different now. Like like I was talking about earlier, a metaphor that I talked to my friend Jesse about is like, We Are Weapons. Like I said, I don't even know if people would recognize that as a hip hop album.
Yep.
It's everything I wanted it to be. I got a bunch of stuff out of my system, like the spoken words, there's some screaming. I had some features from friends who, like my friend Jonathan from Anna Sapphira. Like I had friends who are in heavy bands that I wanted to be on the record. Even all the features on there are all friends I had talked to for like years about doing features with, and I got everybody on there. And one of the metaphors that I talked to Jesse about was like, I'm almost like, I'm trying to remember how he put it. It was like, I'm like on the playground, but I'm in a completely different sandbox than like all the other rappers.
Yeah, which
and
is
it's like,
dope.
Yeah, and like, it's funny because we were talking about, I was like, I want to have that uniqueness, but at the same time, like I want people to listen to some of my music and be like, all right, he's definitely a rapper. Like he's within this realm. Yeah. It's not just like this alternative hip hop, but at the same time, like I don't want to sound like anybody else.
Yeah.
So
it's a tough line because you don't want to blend in with everyone.
Exactly.
There's so many artists I can just be like, I don't know, one song, one verse by you, and like I fuck with them and I'm boys with them.
Yeah.
But like I can't name one fucking song by them. But then then there's some people that are so left field that like it's unlistenable.
Yeah. Right. And that's, I think, you know, I think that's why I was kind of toying with the idea of like changing the name and things like that. But I still am like, I think that name still fits. Like I was saying earlier, like I'm a pretty eclectic person and just kind of weird. Yeah. And I think the name kind of fits. But I do think like the aesthetic is going to change a little bit. And like some of the imagery I've been using for Las Plagas is a little bit simpler and a little bit darker. So I think you're going to see ATA a lot more. But when you look up, the other thing is I wanted that continuity on all of the streaming services, which maybe that seems like a weird thing, but I feel like you have to factor it in. Like I don't want people to, you know what I mean? Like I don't want someone to have to look up Animatronic the Abolisher to find the old stuff. I want people to see the whole progression, you know? So I don't want to go through like, you know, I'm not going to set up a separate music page on Spotify and Apple Music for ATA, you know what I mean? But I think a lot of the marketing and things like that you're going to see is you're going to see ATA on there. Yeah.
You had a question for us? Yes. Oh, okay.
Why is your drink empty?
You can't even see my drink being empty. Who can see? Who?
They can
I would like to hear who exactly.
They can also.
Who's calling me out? It's just you? It's you calling me out?
I commented secretly. I was like, why is your drink empty?
It's okay. My mom commented on your drink being empty. And I'm like, what the fuck? Did you comment? You're just like, hey guys. Isn't it weird how fucking Justin doesn't have a full drink? I'm chilling. We haven't had any likes pouring in a little bit on the second half, so.
They all saw it.
Huh?
They all saw it.
All saw what? My drink empty? That's why I was trying to hide it behind the fucking Instagram.
I can say.
My buddy Chris Skivvy. wants to know what are Saturdays for?
Bro, what are Saturdays for?
He wants to say Saturdays are for the boys.
Is that what
But
they're
I know
for?
I'll get in trouble if I say Saturdays are for boys and girls. Saturdays
What?
are for boys and girls.
Yeah, I can get down with that. Why?
Huh? What'd you say?
Something very fun is happening over there. I don't know.
Gone. She had like 2 beers. She's gone.
What's the rum and orange soda thing? What's that about?
Try it. Are you like germaphobe?
No, are you?
Okay, no.
All right, because I spit in every drink I sample. Ooh, that's actually not bad.
If it was cold, it would be bomb.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But this is my favorite Bacardi. All right, so I'm gonna do my
Is this your sponsor
It's
spot?
sponsored by Bacardi Oakheart. So
It's
Bacardi
really
Oakheart
good. I've
is,
never had this.
It's so good.
I like it.
It's so good. Bacardi Oakheart is the only rum for the regular users. The regular alcoholic 10 out of 10 recommends Oakheart
10 out of
Bacardi.
10.
No,
That's
I
good.
love it because I'm not like a silver rum guy because it's I think silver rum, like just like vodka, like it's very easy to hide it in a drink.
Okay.
So if you have like a vodka cranberry, you can fill up like 3/4 with fucking vodka and you
Yeah.
won't know the difference from like one that's filled barely.
Yeah.
So but like I like dark rums, I like dark liquors, and Captain Morgan is
Same.
a college drink. And I just felt, even though this is it's a cheaper rum than Captain Morgan.
Is it cheaper?
which It's cheaper on the shelf, but I think it's also because Captain Morgan has better branding.
Oh yeah.
So everyone, when they want rum, they think of Captain Morgan. Anyone. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Think about how many.
That's
rums
what
you
I
know.
assumed you would have.
So-
You have Kraken? You ever drink Kraken?
Kraken's so good.
How are you gonna not drink something called Kraken?
I know.
That's
I know.
so
But
cool.
it's expensive.
It is
It's
expensive.
like $30, $40 for a
it's
fucking
expensive.
bottle.
That's how you're not gonna
on
drink Kraken.
sale. By the way, guys,
Tell
New
me how
Hampshire
much.
liquor store on sale, $20, $19.99. How can you beat that? One handle.
Can't beat it. Look at it.
I go to the bar. I pay $20 for 2 beers.
2 beers. $20 for this. $20 for one of these.
$20 for one of these.
Pop. 20 bones.
Um,
What just happened there? I don't know.
So my buddy Christian Rainey wants to know, what was your inspiration for your verse on "End of the Road"?
Oh, well, that verse was cool. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I am. But you wanted it to have like, that was so cool that you had me do that track. I was super stoked on that,
Yeah.
for the record, as an aside, because it's like, that's the last track.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I was
Yeah.
like, really? I get to do that? That was cool. So like you wanted it to be like we're at a funeral. That was kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
idea, like this memoriam kind of thing. And so what I was trying to do with that verse is I was trying to make it feel like it could be about a person, but it could also be about the music. It could be about how art is this thing that you create.
I didn't know that was a conscious thought writing.
Yeah.
I kind of felt it
You
when
get that?
listening to it, but
Cool.
like I didn't realize it was, because sometimes you write stuff and then like a metaphor
It like
pokes out
takes
that,
on its
yeah,
own.
and
Yeah.
and you don't know why. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was kind of the whole vibe. I was trying to make it, I was just writing it as if it was about, and it got like, it's a little weird at certain parts, but that's just like a thing that I do.
Yeah.
So if you listen to it, like a lot of, one of the overarching concepts is the idea of memories being thieves.
Yeah.
So like a memory is something that was like stolen from a moment and thrown into like a bank, like your
bank.
memory
Yeah, yeah,
bank
yeah.
for a later time, and then how like sense and visuals and sounds bring you back to a certain time. So the morning of like your music, where you were calling that like your last project, would the idea of like the memoriam there is like hoping that all your past projects, like people will listen to that music in the future and it'll bring them back to like a certain time, or
so
remind you of that year that you did, the JB show
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
it
yeah.
was. Or for a lot of like, there's so many features on that album. So
Yeah.
like people thinking back to when they did their spot on that record. So that was the inspiration. I really wanted to be like twofold. And, that's why the whole thing was kind of like someone delivering, like we all know why we're here, at least we think we do, but it's really about like a celebration rather than a mourning. So that was kind of the goal there.
And I like one of my close friends, like one of his close buddies passed away, and he what they do is, I think it's on his birthday or when he passed away. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But instead of mourning his death, they celebrate his death.
That's
because they
yeah.
feel that person would rather them to come together and celebrate and
Yeah.
like reflect on old times together than to just like remember that date as, oh, like my buddy passed away.
Yeah.
So like I think that's one of the things that I felt off of like your verse. Like it felt
Cool.
like like you said, a celebration instead of just a mourning.
Yeah.
Which like the mourning is like evident, but at the same time it's like it gives that double entendre that where it's like you can feel the presence of like life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the same time. And actually, funny that when we performed that was surreal.
That was, dude, that was so good. There was one.
Don't worry about it.
All right, whatever. There was one. I missed a word.
Yeah, no one noticed.
It's because it didn't happen. It was perfect. It was flawless. It was, yeah, that was fun, man. And just, I don't know, something happened where like when we were just, I loved how we like, we sat down when we weren't performing and like we like took turns.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, it just felt like that was the vibe, and
The
it was
energy
cool.
was just so kinetic or whatever it is. Like,
Yeah.
Just like we just like took in
Yeah.
like what that was.
Yeah.
And like you could feel like the whole crowd be kind of speechless and just kind of like it felt like a funeral.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know, like that was the coolest part.
It was cool. Yeah. Thank you for having me. On
Yeah,
that.
of course.
That was really, really cool moment.
Thank you, Christian. Catherine DeVoe wants to know, what time of day do you pick your nose?
So I got my nose pierced like 6 months ago. So it's like all day, every day now. I can't stop. There's like, you know, if you get something pierced, sometimes you get a little, I am trying to talk and you are just,
I'm just being
having
rude.
a coughing fit. The first Keep Up podcast, we coughed through the entire thing.
That's
like
good.
almost the
Well,
whole
it's
thing.
okay. We tapped on like because I talk with my hands, so
Oh.
and I'm trying not to tap. And like if you tap, it picks up on the mic. But then people would be like, "Hey, stop tapping," and we'd be like, "Fuck you, we're drunk. Like let's tap more." So now we're fucking
go Donkey
tapping,
Kong
like,
on
yeah,
it.
dude, we're fucking just hammering down.
Oh,
Like
it's so funny.
You want to fucking talk shit? Like let's go. Like you're gonna hear fucking tapping this whole podcast. So yeah, I totally get that.
What time of day? Catherine, I don't know what am I supposed to do with this?
So if we're being honest, I'm gonna say about like between 4 and 5 on my commute home. But I don't do like the fucking searching for a golden nugget. Like I do like the pinky. So I'm like this.
You getting the inside like this?
Yeah.
I get it on the outside. I have like a pretty big nose. I feel
Yeah,
like.
see, I'm gifted to not have like a fucking excursion every time
I
I
have
go there.
yeah. Mine's like a whole.
Mine's like a crust thing. So I'm like, oh,
that's
oh,
mine.
oh.
So maybe it's earlier in the morning. I think sometimes. I think it's earlier in the morning. I wake up. I'm like, what's going on?
And then we're good.
Pop. Done.
It's like the eye crusties. You take
Exactly.
care of the
That's
Jesus
what
Christ, I have so many eye crusties.
Yeah, get 'em
Jesus
out,
Christ,
dude.
let's go.
Get them out. So it's.
You look like a pixel's fucking dead on the screen.
Yeah, maybe it's early morning for me.
Yeah, me, it's on the commute home. I'm sick.
Different strokes for different folks. You know what I mean?
Next, we got Jink Varsity, who said, if not for hip hop, do you want to be a musician for another genre?
Dude.
And do you mind taking this question by yourself? Because I'm going to fucking piss. And like, I don't want to take a break.
It's going to happen again.
Do you need to piss?
I'm good.
Okay, I'm going to take a piss. You tell the people. I'm
Okay.
going to hop out and hop in.
All right, I'm just vamping here. Just being left alone. If not for hip hop.
Take another shot.
It feels weird. It feels weird when he's gone. Does he do this?
Is this the third bathroom break?
This is the third, yeah. I think. Or fourth. It's a lot. I think it's third. Because we did 2 breaks. And now this is the first time he's just left me here alone. Does he do this to all the guests? Okay. How many more? Does he have a record? Like for how many times he's gone to the bathroom?
Oh, you know, I wish I could make a video of all the times he's left.
Just a Please. You could probably go through and get them all.
For his next birthday.
Yeah, there you go. Just a compilation of him leaving his own podcast. Yeah.
Sorry,
that would be
by
great.
the way, can you talk about this? I'll be right back.
Welcome to the podcast. I'll be back.
Thing.
All right.
It really is.
You should really make a compilation of that.
It really is. It's real. Everybody knows it.
Yeah. So now it's like a shtick. It's like a thing that he does.
It's a thing. Now he can't stop.
Now he can't not do it. Yeah.
Thing.
Did you even go?
Wait, did you spend the entire minute talking shit instead of answering
I don't
the
know.
question? I'm gonna say right now,
There's no way to know.
I'm pretty quick. I'm in and out like a burger joint.
That honestly was
That was lame.
quick.
That was a dad joke. This is a dad joke. I'm in here.
It's pretty good. I've never eaten at In-N-Out, and I've always wanted to. Have you?
We're going to because that sentence.
Yeah, you can't go now. Appropriate. I don't have a hat.
If not for hip hop, did you want to be a musician for? It's okay, guys, because what I'll do is I'll crop it out and no one will know it happened. Unless
No, you
were
gotta
here.
leave it in. There was some gold content. While you
No,
were
there was
gone.
not. I was listening.
Gold.
I was like ear against a fucking vent, like
What?
kissing upstream.
How
like,
did you do
fucking
that?
Shooting from a corner.
The arch must have been impressive.
Oh, okay.
Is it
You guys are
everywhere?
Best friends.
Yeah.
A little bit. The garbage bin is kind of.
We'll
it just soaks paper
deal
towels.
with that. We'll deal with that in post. If not for hip hop,
Cass looking at me like, I gotta clean that.
is that part of her job? Is like
Yeah.
doing production? She's got to clean up after your breaks.
She does my pee breaks.
Crazy.
She's like, she does the post pee break.
Do you get paid for
clean.
this? I don't know if you get paid enough to clean up after
The
whatever.
pee clean.
Gnarly. Yeah. I want. Who? Jing Varsity. Jing. All the genres. A lot of the genres. So. I play bass in a couple bands now. That band of Common Goal that I mentioned, I play bass in a band called Chasms. We're like loud, noisy hardcore. And I have love and respect for most, I guess love and respect. I have respect for, I'll say, all art forms.
Yeah.
Love for most of them.
Yeah.
But like I posted something recently on Facebook where I said, it's exciting to think about, like, there are genres of music I haven't played yet and still will at some point. A bunch of people were like, you should do country. And like, it's not my vibe. And I don't know where that came from. Real,
a little bit rock and roll.
I don't know where. I don't know.
A little bit country.
I don't know where it came from. I guess there's some there's some artists that I like, but country's like not really my vibe. So, but yeah, I mean, in general, I love hardcore. I love anything like loud and aggressive. I have other projects that I have like mapped out and written music for that I'd like to put out at some point.
We've all heard that.
It might never.
We've all heard that. We've all heard that music's coming out, and then it's been 5 years.
I try to, yeah. Well, see, now one of the things I've learned is like not to overstep like what I'm actually capable of. So none of that stuff is stuff I even like talk about. Because if I say it, like it's never it'll like never come out. So the only thing I'm focusing on right now is that EP and the track I'm working on with Jordan, and that's it. So those will be out soon. But to answer that question, yes, like there are other genres that I want to be like. The way I think of it is like I was saying earlier, I'll kind of go through a season of being really into one thing. And right now I'm just really focusing on animatronic projects and like hip hop in general and production. But there are definitely other genres, anything aggressive and fast and loud. And I'd like to do more production in the future, which will hopefully be in like some different genres too. So, yeah.
We have, what are you sending on your new album? Which is supposed to say message, but I can't type.
What? Maybe it's a different language. What message? There's no language that works in. The message I'm sending on the new album. So, like I mentioned before, it's a lot of. I think so. The concept of good villain is it's twofold. So one, every story needs a good villain. And a really good villain is usually like multi-layered. So I think of like Nolan's Joker, and we'll just stop there because you all get what I'm saying. But like a really well put together villain is a really important part of a story, and I find that conceptually intriguing because why is it that we need such a good villain for a story to be really good? It's really interesting to think about that. The other concept of it is maybe I'm a villain in a lot of my story, like a lot of my situations. The concept of like, at what points have I been the bad guy? But I've just been trying to figure out, like in our own stories, like we often think we're the good guy. Like we think we're doing what's best for us and the people around us. You've got to be a bad guy in someone else's story. Yeah, you can't
Even
not
the
be.
good guys are bad guys to the bad guys.
100%. Like you can't not be the bad guy at some point. So it's a lot of exploration of that. But I think it's important to recognize that, because then the third layer to that is a good villain, not meaning like a villain who's good at being a villain, but maybe the villain actually has good in him, like a good villain. Yeah, exactly. So, and the concept of realizing like every story needs a good villain. At what points have you been the villain? And then the third layer being like, how does that make you relate to the villains, the people that you've considered villains? So like, what things have you dealt with that you realize, oh yeah, that turned me into this kind of person, and I can think of a time when I've dealt with that kind of person and I thought they sucked. You know what I mean?
No, it's
so
cool.
that's kind of the whole thing. And there's
the way I kind of read it is also like the villain in yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah. 100%.
You could be the bad hero and the good villain. You know what I mean? Within yourself, there's chaotic, neutral, and like chaotic, neutral.
And then like
Chaotic. Look up the different. There's chaotic, neutral, and
then like a clean bedroom.
good or something. I don't know what it is, but it's like there's like a 3x3 where it shows
like essentially
neutral, chaotic, good, neutral, chaotic, or whatever, and then it shows kind of. Oh, go ahead.
Chaotic neutral is the best alignment you can be because it represents true freedom.
Interesting.
Turn on the mic. Everyone's hearing like an echo, like in the background.
So, a chaotic good character acts as his conscience directs him with little regard for what others expect of him.
What's chaotic neutral?
It's the best alignment you can be because it represents true freedom from both society's restrictions and a do-gooder seed.
And there's chaotic evil too, right?
Probably.
Or chaotic bad?
Yeah,
there's
probably.
there's a lot of like. I've explored it. Obviously
Chaotic
not
evil
enough.
beings believe their alignment is the best because it combines self-interest and pure freedom.
Ah, interesting.
So yeah, I don't
cool.
know, something like that's kind of how I pictured. But like obviously like I've never like been a little bit like educated in it, but I haven't like enough to like memorize.
That's cool.
The because it's like good, neutral, evil, and then something chaotic. You know what I mean? Like and then it shows like what type of person every single one is. So like obviously the opposite of chaotic and then the middle of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, that's super cool. There's definitely a lot in there conceptually that vibes with like a lot of the stuff that I'm working on, and that'll be again like the overarching concept. Las Plagas specifically is very much about like the villain in me. Yeah, there's a cat screaming.
It's okay. Jesus Christ, I got another fucking one. You're gonna see go. All right, so Nick Hampshire, or not Nick, says rank the Ninja Turtles cartoon shows worst to best.
Worst to best. All right. So we have cartoons and shows in there. Yeah. So let's see if I can first just list them all. So there's the 87 Turtles. There's the 2003 Turtles.
No fucking way.
There's the 2012 Turtles, which was the most recent one. Look at this cat. Why are you screaming? I want to pet that cat. Let me pet. Oh yeah. I'm petting this cat real quick.
It just looks like your hands up.
Look at that. Look at this cat. Oh, I'm petting that cat.
No.
And then there is what's the really bad one? Oh, The Next Mutation. Did you ever see that? It was like a Bandai.
Oh yeah.
They did a crossover with like Power Rangers and whatnot.
Yeah, because
But the suits were like garbage.
Bad.
So that's 4. I think it's just those 4.
And which ones are you gonna? So obviously
next.
Bandai's
Yeah. That was garbage. So Next Mutation sucked so hard. That's actually super tough. So the one I'm probably the least versed in is the 2003 version, which was like I don't know if it was on the WB, but it was like that era of cartoons.
Yeah, where like half of cartoons were on WB.
Yeah, and it was good. But it's hard to put that above the 87 one. But the 2012, like the most recent Ninja Turtles. Oh, and then there's Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is the one that just came out. That's the one that's running right now. I've barely watched that one, but I would probably have to I've literally only watched one episode of that. So granted, I don't really have a good take on that. Next Mutation is garbage, so that's bottom of the line. I'd have to go Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the newer one. Not super familiar, and it's much more aimed at kids, which is fine. It also has some really cool aspects to it, but it's like a total reimagining, so I'd have to watch more. Then 2003 Turtles, because I can't put that above 87, which is number 2, but the 2012 has to be the best one, top notch.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
It's funny because just you like wording it, I knew what you're gonna.
Did you? Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of working it out, but yeah, I think that's how it has to be. I can't. It's hard not to put 87 at the top because that was the original.
What about ranking the Ninja Turtles themselves?
Ooh, just who I like.
Yeah.
Raph, Donnie, Mikey, Leo.
Okay, I don't know them enough to know. I know their weapons, and that's it.
So size, bow staff. Nunchucks, katana. Yeah.
Okay, Nick, of course you would ask that.
Of course you would.
Nick, again,
Yeah.
does your because we all know you're religious.
Yeah.
So he wants to know if your religion affects how you consume art, specifically music.
Interesting.
Would you classify yourself as a Christian rapper?
No, I don't love that. Dude, that's such a hard question. It's so hard because like I don't care. Like I shouldn't say I don't care. That's flippant. It depends what you think that is. Like I am a Christian, but I am so, and this could be a total like personal flaw. I am so afraid of what the implication of that word is because of the like what people think of that, like what that person is portrayed as. So that strongly influences my music. But like if you listen to my first album, it's straight up like it sounds like a gospel rapper, conceptually. So I had just started going to church when I was like 18 and really seeking out some more like spiritual things and kind of seeing where I fell on that and exploring it. So that's the timing of that. That's why my first record is so like explicitly focused on those themes. That being said, there are a lot of things on that record that I would not write now, which is okay. It's not even to say that like on some of the concepts I have changed a lot on like how I feel about the concepts or even like what I believe in general.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm Catholic. I think. I don't know. I like all the terms like Christian, Catholic, like all gets blurred to me. Like I went to CCD. I did
that too.
I did all the steps up to like marriage. So but that's all I know. You know what I mean? 'Cause, and like when you over time you learn more things. I mean, like, there's people that are fucking flat earthers.
True,
You know what I mean? Like, so there's people that believe in religion that just, like, being exposed to the internet and being exposed to everyone's opinions and everything can change your mind state.
Absolutely,
just because you're open to it. So you listen to them and go, all right, that makes sense to me. So, 100%. Like, it's tough. It's tough to not be open about both sides because both sides are easily presentable. While before, I think with communities and even like before we all like migrated to the Americas and everything, you were congested by your peers. So like the differing opinions were separated into different places. So then now that the internet has opened up everyone to be closer, you can hear opposing opinions without it being an all-out war like some countries are having.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I think what my fear has been, like a thing that I need to get over is like I have Christian beliefs, but some people think that means that you're like a closed book. Yeah. And that I'm afraid of certain friends of mine sometimes like being like, oh, you're part of a church, and then like feeling like I have some kind of judgment towards them. I don't feel like
you're ready to bring the wrath of God.
Like you know what I mean? I believe in something like I believe that there's something bigger than us, and that makes sense to me. That they're and those are conversations that I now like to have because I just don't want anybody to be afraid of like. I have beliefs that I have Christian friends that I strongly disagree with. I have like atheist friends that I disagree with on some things, but I also agree with both. Exactly, 100%. Like Nick and I are so different, and
he's like yelling, getting ready to freaking climb a freaking.
He's your next guest.
Yeah. He's been on the string before, so.
But yeah, like perfect example is like how different Nick and I are in our beliefs, but like as far as like
you agree as people,
and like as far as like our social concerns and things like that, like we are very much aligned on a lot of those things, and we have those conversations a lot. And he's been super influential on like a lot of the information that I have on like social issues. And he and I have also had like conversations about faith and things like that because I've changed a lot over the years. So that's a lot to say that I consider myself a Christian rapper? Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess it depends. Like,
I guess you're thinking it's technically correct.
Like, is it a genre?
Because you're a Christian and you're a rapper.
Yeah, like,
but then like you're thinking, are you? What was that fucking heavy band that was hardcore Christian, like metal?
Like
Christian?
Under Oath?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's what you're thinking of.
Oh fuck! I can't believe you knew that. Yeah, like Under Oath. Like, are you going to be classified as that?
And that's the hard thing is like those dudes, like some of those dudes are no longer Christians. They've kind of bowed out of that. Some of those dudes still are very much, but they've been shunned because they've like dropped an F-bomb on a podcast somewhere. So like they've literally been removed from shows. So I'm and this is not like an uncommon conversation amongst like the faith community who's into art.
Yeah.
Cause like I'm that dude who's going to say something and get kicked off a Christian festival. Like that's me 100%. I will be that dude who like people be like, oh, here's the thing that like the church does is they'll be like if someone comes up being like overtly Christian in their lyrics, right? And then they make it big and then they write a song about something different. The church is like, he's the devil, right?
Disowned, yeah.
But you take like a Chris Pratt who like got famous. He's got that Jackson Pollock line in Guardians.
Yeah.
Like he says some things and he like, does all these things that some people in the church would get angry with. They find out that he's a Christian. And if he's already like elevated in like a social sphere, they like claim him. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, but we got Chris Pratt.
And that's frustrating to say the least.
Exactly.
Like,
and
you
like
can't pick and choose. You can't choose like.
And it's just like you have to understand like so those have generated some of the fears in me as an artist to be like, oh, am I supposed to be this kind of thing or this kind of thing? Because I don't want to shy away from like talking about and learning about faith. Cause that's the other thing is like some people grew up in church. I didn't really grow up in church. Like it's a thing that I kind of sought out later on. And I'm changing and evolving and learning things, but I think the overall, and this could just be my insecurity about it, but I think the overall consensus is that if you are a person of any type of faith, specifically Christian or Catholic, that is, you have this particular set of beliefs and they will not change and you are like a wall.
Yeah, and you're like,
I'm not that guy.
I feel like this is what bothers. Okay, so let's talk about like social. I think that's you. Or was that me? That was me. All right, I'll drink with you though.
Let's do it.
I think the thing that sucks about things that change, like with social media, is people like audiences and viewers and like people that follow all these big like social media influencers do not allow for people to change. So if you're an atheist, you're forever an atheist. Yeah. If you're this type of person, you're forever that type of person. Yeah. And like like you take PewDiePie who fucking dropped the N-bomb and then he's marked as a racist and a fucking Nazi and then all the shit. And then people are defending him, but it's like it's once you're labeled as something, you're stuck with that label, which sucks. Yeah. Because
it's tough.
Think about what you did 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Are you still that person?
Oh, dude.
Did you learn? You know what I mean? Like, and what happens is you can fall into fame younger and younger. So all of a sudden, like, someone could get a social media rising out of nowhere at 15 and fucking say shit. Like, fuck up over and over. Justin Bieber, for instance, you take all of his fuck ups and then it's like, he can fucking learn. He's still in his teens.
I know,
He's still
exactly.
growing. He's still growing up. What the fuck were you doing at 15?
Yeah.
You like, there's so many people I talk to that have talked to me about how they used to be huge drinking and driving because the cops didn't care back in the day. And It's like, all right, but then you're gonna fucking put this dude on burn him at the cross for fucking doing the exact same thing you were doing when you were 15, 20, 30 years ago because the standards have changed.
Right. It just wasn't posted on social media.
Exactly.
For you, so it's
or it wasn't like what I think it's like what the fuck is it called? It's like reactionary fucking
TikTok?
No. Like it's like reactionary everyone overreacts to everything. So as soon as something happens, all of a sudden like it's blown out of proportion. It's like it's I forget exactly the phrase, but something where like they'll take like Roxanne who says one wrong thing on fucking social media and then say cancel. It's like cancel anyone that's listening, just say I don't know what it's called, but it's like people. It's like outrage.
Is it like an extreme reaction to something to like?
It's like if you don't cancel them, we're not gonna be like representative. Like if NBC or ABC doesn't do something per the outrage, we're not gonna support you anymore.
Oh, okay.
So it's like outrage, like I don't know what the fuck it's called.
Cancel culture?
Cancel culture. Thank you.
Oh,
That's what it
cancel
is.
culture.
So,
Interesting.
So a lot of people
I've never
are,
heard that term.
Yeah.
A call to boycott somebody, usually a celebrity.
Turn on your mic, please, and just start it from the beginning so people can hear it. That's fine. That's fine. We can build up on it.
So call out culture.
Huh? Cancel culture.
Cancel culture. Oh, see, I clicked on the wrong link.
That's another thing. Call out culture.
Yeah, call out culture's up there too.
Related, cancel culture is a call to boycott someone, usually a celebrity, who has shared a questionable, unpopular, or a controversial opinion on social media.
Yeah.
And then just cancel them. And then just push to cancel them until they're forced. Look at the James Gunn. Is that his name?
Yeah, that's the first one I thought of. Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy. And like it's like, what, this dude can't change 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah,
7 years
I
ago,
know.
8 years ago. It's like, fuck you. And plus, the thing that fucking sucks is like the acceptance of different opinions have changed. So something that wasn't accepted, I mean, think about like same-sex marriage. That was only really recently
it's
compared
pretty taboo
to the history
forever,
of people
right,
to be
right,
accepted by the general public or the general population. And then you're going to take like things that people said in vain before because that was taken as a joke, and things because people get uncomfortable, they make jokes about things that are uncomfortable in general. I mean, that's why 9/11 jokes fucking exist, because it has that shock value. And then all of a sudden, like then you take it 10, 20 years, 30 years out of context, then it's a completely different story. You can't make the same jokes you made in the 1900s, but it doesn't mean we grew as a culture. And especially now with social media, you're growing exponentially because now everyone's opinions are on blast. You say something, anyone can see this right now. They could clip what I just said about accepting same-sex marriage, take it out of context, put it on Twitter, make a 20-second clip, and now I'm fucking like escorted from, everyone. Like no one wants to be associated with me.
That's
so
crazy.
it's interesting to see. I mean, we're just talking about religion affecting how you consume art.
Yeah.
But it's insane to see how cancel culture has just blown up because it's wildly accepted because it's almost like these famous people are a representation of you.
Yeah.
So if they're not sharing the same opinions as you,
all done.
them.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's been a big fear for me, like, because I grew up like making music, and then I started like seeking out more, just kind of looking into like, looking into church and looking into more spiritual things. And then that became a part of my life. But then you start to see like, there are really like the Christian music industry is its own thing.
Yeah.
So, but once you're a part of that, like if you do something they don't like, and it's just like anything else, but then I got worried about that, like that cancel culture aspect. Like if I become this one thing, do I have to stay that one thing? And like, I'm not about that. Like I'm not trying to do that. Or you
have to stay being in their culture.
Exactly. And like, so
you're either completely disbanded or you're 100% in it.
Exactly. And that's what it started to feel like. And at this point, like I'm at a place where I'm not really worried about that. I'm just more worried about being honest in what I'm doing. Cause I don't do that with my friends. Like I don't meet somebody and be like, hello, what's your religious preference? Like, oh, that, well then we're not hanging out. You know what I mean? Like I don't do that with anybody. I don't want to do that with people. And to bring it, around to the question, I would say that, my faith in general affects how I consume art, because what it's really done for me, like to me, the embodiment of like God and who God is love, to a degree that like a lot of us don't, like myself included, have like a hard time giving and acting out. And so that to me is like I listen to really, really angry music, and what I hear is the person who wrote that and where that came from. And honestly, the majority of it I can relate to in one way or another. I listen to like a love song or something really brokenhearted, and I hear that person the same way that like if you text me and you were like, yo, I need to talk about this thing, like I'm gonna listen to you. So listening to me is like the act of listening is something that I put a lot of value on.
Yep.
And it's something that I've practiced a lot in my life to be intentional about, like, hearing. And so with art, like, I watch something and or I listen to something, or I just look at something, and I feel like I really see whoever's involved. Yeah, the value of it, like, especially because that's how I express, like, myself. Like, it's like my soul is to, like, create things. So I think it affects it in the way that it's really changed my view of people, like, because of my my seeking of God and, like, what it really means to love. I see people differently, and I think of people differently in a way that I try to, like, put people before myself. I don't always succeed at that, but that's your goal. It's affected my relationships with people, and it's also affects the way that I consume and create art and stuff like that. So
because the thing that's tough too is a lot of times you got to separate the art from the artist, and I think a lot of people don't realize that there's, like, you can connect to a breakup without like approving of someone beating their girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
You can relate to things without relating to everything. So I think a lot of people will, like, like, maybe religion doesn't really reflect, like, how you accept the art, but, like, at the same time, art is art. You interpret it the way you want, and then you can't really just be like, oh, well, this guy did this or this girl did that, and then I can't appreciate the art. And I think I've seen it a lot with cancel culture and just things in general, where social media will take and drown someone because of something they said without realizing that art is art.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
I mean, one thing that has always blown my mind is people listening to something like the first Animatronic record, and I've never gotten any backlash about that album, but that's something that I have feared since the moment I put it out. I have shown Nick was one of the first people to be like, dude, I really love that album. And we had arguments on, like, LiveJournal about like God, and he compared God to Alf, and, like, we had, we reminisce about this conversation all the time. But he listened to that record, which I know front to back is, like, me exploring, like, these biblical concepts, and he was like, yeah, man, it's dope. And I'm like, is it? Because, like, I'm on guard, like, I'm scared, like, nobody's gonna want to talk to me after they listen to it. And on the concept of, like, cancel culture, there are some songs on there I've thought about, like, removing that album from all.
Platforms.
Because there are a couple songs on there that I have just changed, and I could give you a breakdown of why I would not write the lines I wrote in there. But the reason I haven't is because I don't think it's honest to, like, remove something just to give the illusion that wasn't you at some point.
The thing that's tough is, like, then it's like you're trying to say I'm not that person anymore, but then now it's shady because it seems like you're hiding it.
Exactly.
So you're hiding the growth, and it sucks that as a general public, like, you almost feel obligated to hide your growth because your initial form, like, evolving and maturing over time, is not culturally accepted. 20 years later, and you can't. Are you gonna fucking apologize for what you did as a baby? You know what I mean? Like,
I know, right?
You can grow. You can be a person.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, that, like, you take the older generations, like our grandparents and everything, and they might not even accept same-sex marriage, or they might not accept, like, I mean, back in their era and before, like, you had slavery, you had different things for, like, the older generations that were regularly accepted by a culture.
Right, yeah.
And were you going to hold them to those standards as a whole? I get it because it's like, you need to grow. You need to realize things. But at the same time, it's like, it's tough. You can have growth. Yeah. You can't have, like, like, things that weren't acceptable 2,000 years ago. Like, we're growing as a whole culture. And,
right.
Like, you just give some people, you have to give more time with, and some people you can't hold accountable for what they said 5-10 years ago.
Absolutely,
because things are changing so exponentially that you can fuck up.
Yeah.
There was a time where everyone was saying gay negatively, like fag, faggot, like everything, and, like, before it was like haha moments between, like, middle schoolers, high schoolers, elementary schoolers, and then now it's like, not to fucking say that. But it took time. It took time for everyone to culturally appropriate it, I guess.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I was just talking to a friend at work the other day about this, how, like, that was, dude, my mouth, and, like, me as a high schooler, like, if I met me as a high schooler right now, I would slap that kid. I'd be like, yo, easy with that. Like, and we were just talking about that specifically. Like, we used to be like, gay, fag, like, you would just say it all the time. And now it's just like, I would not do that. You know what I mean? It's just things have changed. And I mean, everybody, like, When you're a teenager, you just do dumb things.
And you don't understand things either.
No, there's like, because you don't have enough experience and you don't have enough people around you. Like, you have your circle, but you don't have enough.
Here in like New Hampshire.
Yeah. You don't have enough diversity.
Like,
you know what I mean? Like, I went to a huge high school. There was like one black kid. I didn't know how. You know what I mean? Like, there was no diversity.
4,000 person school.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, like that's a very, very small percentage. It's like 1/4%.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
and
that's not
like,
representative of the whole.
No, exactly. And like, I'm obviously exaggerating, but like for real, if you're not, if you don't have that experience, or you're not around enough people who are different than you, you just don't hear different perspectives. You don't experience different things. And I mean, some of that stuff, as far as like, I don't know if you'd call it like artist remorse or whatever, but like looking back on something you created, it's like there does need to be that grace for like, I would rather like have someone ask me about something they like, how could you have written this or whatever, and have a conversation
and have that dialogue.
Like, but that can't always happen. Sometimes you hear something, you just write that person off, and that's whatever. You know what I mean? Like, people grow and change, and it's just like you can't be perfect. And that's one of the fears of like doing anything creative, is if you're going to intentionally put something out there, there's a chance that you're going to change in the future, and that version of you is not going to be representative anymore of you.
But people don't take that for account. You know what? You know what? Like I know we're going deep into this, getting serious, but like Nick Hampshire, like, or Lumberjack, or not Lumberjack,
not Lumberjack.
Like, the thing I love about his social media, and like just to kind of get into it, I think I'm gonna have him upcoming. I gotta figure out how to do it because he doesn't drink, so it's gonna be a different podcast altogether. Because obviously the incentive is to get more drunk and then be more honest. While him, like, I think he's just a genuinely honest person.
Always drunk.
Always drunk, and like, he's opened me up to so many things just from posting on social media that we don't experience. Like, he experiences it in Philly, but we don't experience it in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
I remember he was constantly posting like Black Lives Matter, and then like all like the not riots, the rallies. Yeah. Because again, media portrays it as a fucking riot.
Yeah,
it's a rally, but he was posting so much about it, and I'm like, this is happening 2 states away or 3 states away.
Yeah.
Like, and then he'll post like about all this stuff that I'm like, I don't know this because it doesn't happen around here.
Right.
We don't have to rally,
and it doesn't affect us.
And it sucks because you do have to rally in New Hampshire, but like there is no rally because which is unfortunate, but it's not representative of our breakout as a whole. And like, and I hate to be, I'm not trying to be, what is it called, closed-minded, but I mean, it's just Philly has a bigger problem than we do with like just ethnicity as a whole, and like to see that, I'm like, oh, this is a problem in America. This is a problem. Like there's New Hampshire isn't, because you're so confined to your state and you're confined to everything that you don't realize how much fucking shit is happening to the rest of the states. Yeah, that like we're closed-minded in New Hampshire.
Well, yeah, I think we, like you mentioned earlier, like we don't experience it as much. So like, I don't even know that it's a bigger problem in Philly. It's just more like you might see it more because we just don't see it as much in our state. But also, like, we didn't grow up, like, we don't have that experience.
We don't,
you know
exactly,
what I mean?
Exactly.
But like, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I was asking him, like, you know, as a black man, do you find that like white people talk different around you sometimes? And he was like, bro, it's so annoying.
Really?
Yeah. And like little things like that where you just...
Because there's people that cater to it, and then there's people that blatantly not cater to it.
So like, that's a different version of it, but that's the thing that like, I may not have ever even thought about, but I was, you know, he was a friend of mine, so we were kind of like making light of it.
It was easy to
but,
like,
exactly.
Get
but
into
it's one of those things that like, now that it's on my radar, you pay attention to things like, and I asked him because I saw, you know, someone talking to him, and I was like, I don't usually hear that dude talk like that. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, and it's those things that it is present everywhere, but people like Nick and you know, social media in general, being able to reach a broader audience and just reach people in general has beneficial in that, right? Where where it's not on our radar at all.
Well, that's the thing. There's Black Lives Matter happened all over. It was a huge sensation.
Yeah.
And for us to be like, is there really that big of an issue? Like,
Right,
not in a disrespectful sense. You know what I mean?
No,
I know we're getting to deep topics and stuff, but it's like, it's not disrespect to the culture. It's just like, we don't see it. We don't see. I remember one of my closest friends, he's black and he lives in Florida. And I remember we got pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like, I was like, what's going on? Like, why are we getting pulled over? And the guy's asking a million questions. I've been pulled over. It was like easy. Oh, license registration. All right, you're good to go. And this was like questioning the I don't know what the fuck it's called. Like, is this a license that's right? You know what I mean? They're questioning if the license was like
valid.
Like valid. And like, or did you do this yourself? Why are you this type of license? Why don't you typically see these type of licenses? Da da da. And I'm like, what?
This is not what it's. Yeah.
What do you mean? And then like I saw it and at first hand, I'm like, this is fucked up. Like that,
crazy.
just seeing it firsthand, and I wasn't experiencing it. I was watching a movie.
What?
You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right. You're just sitting there watching.
We're not even experiencing it. We're watching it from a third person.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's just baffling, and like that's why I'm excited. Like because I hope the Nick episode happens, which might happen as soon as next week. Yeah. Because he's gonna educate me. At the end of the day, that's what these conversations. This is what the podcast is for. Yeah. Is to be educated, because I don't know. I will admit that I'm clueless with a lot of shit. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like,
same dude. Like, I don't know everything.
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
And like a lot of people don't. Almost everyone doesn't fucking know anything.
Mm-hmm.
But what you can do is have a conversation and realize that like your point of view it might not be wrong, but it just might need more input.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. And that's like, I think that's the kind of, the kind of grace that we need to have in general is like, I don't really agree with, and I mean, granted, there are going to be people that like, not only you disagree with, like the internet can be toxic, right? Like there's a lot of good that comes out of this open communication, but like, you see some threads, like, you mentioned Nick's Facebook in particular. That's an easy one to look at. Yeah. You can look at a thread and see people who are there to learn and want to have a conversation, Nick included. Yeah. Like if someone drops something in his comments and that it's like,
and he's
a new
educated me. He's like hit me up and I'm like, because his grandfather just won an award way back in the day. I don't even know the association. Mm-hmm. Like that's how clueless I am. And then like I was like, what is this? And he educated me. And obviously I have it in my messages, but it's not coming up to fresh to memory right now. But like I was like, oh, what? What do you mean? Like, and then, like it's cool. It's interesting to see cultures just are. But then you see the real bigots with social media.
Yeah, and you just see people who are out there to just win an argument, and like that's the stuff that I just find exhausting. Like, bro, I don't care for you to win. I don't care for you to like make me, when people start like name calling and being like, oh, please tell me this and this, and I'm like, bro, shut up. Like if we were in person, you wouldn't talk to me like that. You would just have a conversation with me.
You have the anonymous
keyboard warriors, like whatever, get out of here. Like it doesn't matter. But if people can have like a real conversation, it's super beneficial. So are we still on this one question?
Yeah. Well done. If it makes you, we have no more questions. I think that's what's going on.
We didn't have to move on. It's just we got a lot out of that one.
We got a lot. Yeah, I'm exhausted.
Oh, you know what else? My religion has changed how I watch horror movies.
Why?
I don't know. I just I think a lot more about everything that I watch. Horror movies, I think, used to be just a thing that I would just watch for like
entertainment.
Yeah, you just like don't really think about it much. Now I just read into them like a lot more as far as like, I don't know, I'm just always looking for some kind of like purpose in something, or like why did this director like choose to do this?
Oh
or,
my
like,
god, yeah,
like,
that happened.
Do that
I loved. I'm pissed. Jordan Peele's not
Get Out?
Yeah, Get Out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To look into the depiction of like the black cars. So it's like, or the black cars and white people coming out of it. He specifically did it because it was white people inside of black bodies. And then then he was like, oh, like what's happening? Like, oh, how come we're not going to the basement or something? It's something along those lines.
Damn, I never even caught that.
He goes, oh, because there's black molds downstairs. And it's because there was actual black molds, like of white people going into black bodies, molds. You know what I mean? Like shit like that, where it's just, there's so much intelligence. But I love peeking into a director's
Yeah,
mind to
absolutely.
realize that they're because it's like when we write our lyrics or write certain things, we have an intention as a lyricist to write it a certain way, so that way maybe one day someone will catch on to it. And directors do the same things. There's and video games too. The amount of videos I've watched that's like, it took 20 years for people to realize this little Easter egg that the developer put in here. So like, fucking be a psychopath. But yeah, so fuck, man, it's been a beautiful 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Whoa,
you lost.
That's wild.
Which means you will have to take a shot.
Oh yeah, I lost.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. I'll drink it for you.
I'll do it. That's the rules.
I'll drink it. I'll drink it with you.
Okay.
And,
yeah, see, I'm not a big draw yet, man. Sorry. We don't have a lot.
No, don't worry about it.
I'm gonna peak at like 50.
What do you mean? Oh, at 50 years old?
Yeah, I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be a big hit at like 50.
So I don't know what you're doing afterwards. I know you'll probably want to sober up, but
yeah, I'm doing all right.
We can play a little bit of Celeste if
I'm
you
down.
want.
Yeah.
Maybe Dead by Daylight. Maybe we can set up a second station. Kat, if you wanted to play with us, because she's a fucking pro. She's a higher level than me. Like, she fucking plays a shitload and crushes.
She's like,
so, oh, there goes the can. So, I'm going to create a chaser for myself.
Okay.
And
my chaser has a lot
just
of running.
ShotBet. Thank you guys for tuning in. That was some crazy dialogue. I love it. Take care.
I dream